Hi. Hello. Do I sound okay? Do I sound good? Hi. Hello. Hi Mary. Hi Kristara. Hi. How you doing? How you doing? You sound great. Perfect. Good to hear. Good to hear. Hi Rumble. Hello. Sorry, I am a little all over the place. Just before stream, I got a call from my doctor and it went very poorly, so I'm a little bit upset right now. Um, but we're gonna try not to focus on that. We're gonna try and focus on Epic and Epic the Musical, because that's what we're here for. Um, I had to trap some sailor on an island for 7 years to tell him about Epic. Beat his doctor ass. I will. Okay, let me just rant to you guys about this and then we'll get onto the fun stuff so I can get this out of the way. Okay, so basically I have really bad like acid reflux, right? To the point where like the pain means I can't get out of bed. It's very, very bad, and it really hurts. It starts in like my stomach and then goes through to like my back and just really, really hurts. And basically, I got given some medication like a year and a half ago, right? They gave me like 28 tablets. And only now am I down to my last two. Which means over like a year and a half, I've been taking like, I don't know what that equates to, but I don't take them regularly, right? I just take it when the pain's bad. And I realized that I was running low, and I'm like, if I don't have this medication, if I happen to have a bad day and my acid reflux is bad, I'm not going to be able to get out of bed. It's going to hurt. So I tried ringing the doctors and they were very busy. So I put in a request and was like, hey, I need to get like another prescription. And then I got a call back from the doctor like 10-20 minutes ago. And he asked some like general questions. And then he was like, do you get like any indigestion at night? And I was like, sometimes, but I just kind of take the meds and then they just, get rid of that and I help. So I guess sometimes. And he was like, okay, well, there's another medication that you can take that helps get rid of the indigestion at night. And I was like, it's not really the problem, the indigestion at night. It's kind of just, I'll wake up and be in a lot of pain, so I take the pill to be able to get through the day. And he was like, okay, well, I can't prescribe you the medication. I was like, why not? And he was like, because if you take it regularly, there's a risk of you getting osteoporosis. And I was like, but I'm not taking it regularly. I'm taking it very intermittently just when I get pain. And he's like, okay, well, I can't prescribe you the meds. And I'm like, I've been taking them for like nearly 2 years now. And there's been no problems. Like, why can't... Hello? Like, can you just prescribe them? Hi, Pillow. Hello. I was like, can you just prescribe them, please? And he was like, no, I can't do that. I'm not doing that. And I was like, he was like, you can have the other meds. And I was like, I prefer if I can just, have the meds that I'm on. And he was like, I can't do that. And I was like, okay, well, let's do the same exact thing for the meds I need. Yeah, it's so fucking stupid. So I was like, okay then, I'd like to speak to a different doctor about it. And he went, okay, bye, and then hung up on me. Like, what? Do you know how fucking crazy that is? The thing is that next weekend, yeah, he literally went, okay, bye, and then hung up. Never mind, it seems that you're pissed. I'm a little bit annoyed. I just had a bad experience with the doctor. But otherwise, I'm doing okay. So yeah, at the end of, like, next week, I'm going on a trip. And the thing is that not only does the acid reflux make my stomach hurt, but I also get really bad stomach pains when I get stressed. And traveling isn't something that inherently stresses me out, but also, like, Christmas period's coming up. My season of depression's getting God knows where. Stress is, of course, going to increase, so I can just expect to have my stomach hurt more. And, like, I was just like, hey, can you prescribe these meds that I've been taking for, like, a year and a half? And they were like, no. And I was like, why not? And they were like, because if you take them all the time, you're going to get osteoporosis. I was like, I don't take them all the time. And he's like, well, I can't prescribe them. And I was like, okay, can I speak to another doctor? Okay, bye. What the fuck? And I rang them, and I tried to get back to them, and they were like, the current queue is 28 minutes. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to put in another request, and I'm just going to do my stream. And we'll just go from there. So yeah, that's where we are now. And I'm very annoyed. What are you? Good question. No, I'm a star demon. So I have the horns, I have the halo, which is funny because angels have halos, but I guess I'm a demon. But yeah, I have the pointy ears. I also have a tail, but you can't really see it here. But I do have a tail. The only thing I need is like Schedule 1 class. So they're dangerous if abused. Oh, I see, but I kind of get it. But it still stinks. I have literally no history of abuse. My prescription lasts over a year, so what should have only lasted weeks? Yeah, exactly. I'm Ghost, a ghost cat, age 206. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, ghost cat. Yeah, it's so crazy. I was like, I've been taking you. I got 28 tablets of this stuff back in June of 2024, and I am down to 2 today. I took 1 today, so I had 3 this morning, and I have 2 right now. And like, I was like, okay, like, just prescribe me the meds that I've been taking. And he was like, me. And it's like, I guarantee, I don't mean to sound like, like that kind of person, or like, make this anything that it's not. But I guarantee if it was a guy, if a guy said, hey, I need these meds, he'd be like, yeah, sure. Manifesting a doctor who will work with you on a good solution. Thank you. So yeah, I put a request in, and I'm like, okay, you better. I also live near the doctor, so if I don't hear anything in the morning, I'm gonna try ringing again. Worst case, I'm just gonna storm my way down there and be like, hey, give me the meds I need. And then I have next week to try and work it out before I go on this trip. So fingers crossed, we can sort this out. Yeah. Anyway, oh gosh. Anyway, today's stream is super duper fun. We are going to be going through all the songs in Epic the Musical, and we're going to be doing some analysis of every song in Epic. So before we start, I just want to preface that obviously everything I'm saying is just my opinion. It's just like speculation. I'm not like putting anything in hard fact. So if you disagree with me, you're wrong. No. if you disagree with me, that's completely okay. I'm a big fan of Epic the Musical, and musicals in general. I've studied music for over 12 years now. I have, I studied it in like school and college. So I have like a decent amount of knowledge. Oh, the doctor is ringing me back. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hello. Hi. Hi. I'm back. Um, so that went kind of well, I guess. Is there more drama? Sort of. So, so they rang back and they were like, "Hey, uh, you requested a callback," and I was like, "Yeah, I did." Um, and I was like, "Sorry, Odysseus, you're a bit loud for me. Calm down, calm down, calm down." um, so I was like, "Yeah, I did request a callback," and they were like, "Okay, what's the issue?" So I told them everything that happened, and they were like, "Okay." So they went to speak to a doctor. They came back and they said that they're gonna prescribe me the meds, but at like a lower dosage, um, and then we'll see where we go from there. So it's kind of a win, but I'll take what I can get. But they said that if the lower dosage doesn't work, then I should ring back. Her eyes bounce and she blinks. Yeah, they bounce. One second. Okay, so sorry, Epic the musical. That's where we were. Epic the musical. Right. So, yes, my opinion is just my opinion. But I've studied music for a while, so please trust that it's coming from like a good place. I'm not just being like, yeah, this is this, and I don't have anything to back it. I have studied music for a while. We are gonna go in chronological order. So I've requested the first song. We're gonna start at the very beginning, I'm afraid. Dang it, sorry. We are starting with good old numero uno. So I hope you're ready. Actually, I needed to get, what did I need to grab? I want to get a notebook so I can take some notes so I don't forget anything that I think of. I do also have shopping that is just due to arrive at some point. So if that arrives, then I'm evil. Take evil notes. I might just. Hi, Abbo. How you doing? Also, hi, Abby. Hello. We are gonna take some evil notes today. But yeah. So, ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, we're all evil and spooky today because it's spooky season. It is spooky season at the moment. My hair. So you have to wait till Act 2. Well, we're gonna go in chronological order. I adore Evil Lyra's eyes. They're very pretty. They're very pretty. I wonder if I can do the evil thing with the bald. So if we go bald and then go oh no, wait, hold on. Oh, that's no head. Okay. Wait. There we go. I could be evil and bald. There we go. Yeah, bold and evil. There we go. Took a torso. Yeah, this is for when I want to just like do things that just involve my head. I can just take my torso off. Yeah, I also have another chroma that I haven't really set up, but I have this, which is equally as terrifying. So we're just gonna not do that. The belts stay. You know what does stay? Hold on. Oh, Hippo! Thank you for the sub. Thank you. So if we go here, and then I think if we do this. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Oh, no. Come on. Work with me. We do this. Nope. Come on, VTube Studio. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button, that's why. I was like, why is it not working? You can see I still got my hands. Ooh. Oh, wrong one. No, that's the wrong one. There we go. We're back to normal. Sorry, I was tweaking a little bit. But I'd like to make you a certain color. I don't have anything set up for that, but if you have any request for colors, then I can definitely change it. The only thing I can't change the color of is not because I physically can't, but because I don't want to. It's my skin. I'm not changing the color of that because that is controversial and problematic, and I'm not doing it. But if you want to ask for any colors of anything else, then feel free. I can change the dress color, but it's weird the way the layers are. I can't fully change it. So the dress is just purple for now. What are your calcium candles have an outline on your hair? Why not? Change the dress to pink. I don't know if I can do. I can't do that right now, but we will in due time. All right, sorry, epic. And again, I do have shopping on the way, so if I suddenly... Oh, let me go open my door so I can actually hear my shopping's here. In the meantime, we are gonna move over to... There we go! We have Epic the Musical here. Wait, hold on, let me see. Does VTube Studio have any, like, nerdy glasses that I can put on? Let's have a look. There's gotta be some kind of, like, nerdy glasses, right? No? They have sunglasses, but they don't just have, like, regular glasses? No? God damn, I thought they'd have, like, some kind of, like, nerdy glasses or something that I could add, but they don't. That's unfortunate. Okay, hold on. Let me go open my door, and then I will be right back, and then we will start. Okay. We're here. A bit chaotic, bit all over the place, but we're here. So, we are gonna start with The Horse and Infant, which is the very first song that we hear in Epic the Musical. Okay, so the way we're gonna do it is we're gonna run the first song, listen to it the whole way through, and then we're gonna go back and pick at little bits and then analyze the song. So, here's our first song. I sound like a radio host. And next up, we have The Horse and Infant.
Alright, my brothers, listen closely. Tonight we make the Trojans pay. 10 years of war, they killed us slowly. But now we'll be the ones who slay. Think of your wives and your children. Your families wonder where you've been. They're growing old and yet you're still here. Do what I say and you'll see them again. Yes, sir! Diomedes will lead the charge. Agamemnon will flank the guards. Menelaus will let our mates through the gates and take the whole city at large. Teucer will shoot any ambush attacking. Little Ajax will stay back. Nestor, secure Helen and protect her. Neo, avenge your father, kill the brothers of Hector. Yes, sir! Find that inner strength now. Use that well of pride. Fight through every pain now. Ask yourself inside, what do you live for? What do you try for? What do you wish for? What do you fight for?
What do you live for? What do you try for? What do you wish for? What do you fight for?
Penelope, Penelope, and Telemachus. I fight for ours. I fight for ours. What do you live for?
Penelope.
What do you try for?
Telemachus.
What do you wish for?
I'm on my way.
What do you fight for? Attack! Who was that?
A vision of what is to come cannot be outrun, can only be dealt with right here and now.
Tell me how.
I don't think you're ready. A mission to kill someone's son, a foe who won't run, unlike anyone you have faced before.
Say no more. I know that I'm ready.
I don't think you're ready.
It's just an infant. It's just a boy. What sort of imminent threat does he pose that I cannot avoid?
This is the son of none other than Troy's very own Prince Hector. Know that he will grow from a boy to an avenger, one fumed with rage as you're consumed by age. If you don't end him now, you'll have no one left to save. You can say goodbye to
Penelope,
You can say goodbye to
Penelope. I could raise him as my own,
Burn your
or send him far away to make sure his past is never known. I'm not afraid for him.
down on your knees for ya.
I'm begging, please.
Will of the gods.
Please don't make me do this. Don't make me do this.
The blood on your hands is something you won't lose. All you can choose is whose.
So that was Horse and the Infant. What did we think? What did we think? Oh, it's gone blurry. I didn't know it did that. What do we think? What do we think of that song? Ratings from like 1 out of 10? That song has slowly grown on me. I'm gonna be so real. I used to like not be a big fan of that song, but it's slowly grown on me. Yeah, it's low-key good. Yeah. 7 out of 20. Oh, out of 10, okay. I was like, 20's a scale. But yeah, Horse and the Infant's really good. So from like the musical like analysis standpoint, Horse and the Infant is obviously the first song that we hear, so it's got to set the stage for who the main characters are. In this sense, it's setting the stage for Odysseus. You know, it shows that it starts with, I saw Epic Saharam. Hi, Eddie. Hello. We just started. We're still on the Horse and Infant right now. So obviously, you know, Odysseus is like leading his troops. And then he talks about, you know, like fighting, and then he talks about his wife and his son, and then it introduces, you know, Zeus asking him to, you know, he has to kill this child. So that's kind of like the narrative of the song, and that's kind of what it's setting up. So let's go back and listen. I'm going to listen for all the cool little nuances that they have in the song. So there's a lot of like small details that we hear in every single song, because Jorge is just an amazing writer, and he puts so many small little details in that often just go missed. Are we just listening, or are we watching the animatics instead? We're just gonna listen currently, but that's just because I'm doing like an analysis of the music, and I know that if I watch the animatic I'll get very distracted. So I'm gonna keep it to just the music for now. I'm afraid. I'm sorry. The animatics are very good though. If you haven't seen the animatics, I would recommend. So something that Jorge mentioned, and something that is quite prevalent throughout the whole thing, and something that I will talk about a lot, is something called a motif, which is basically a something that represents a character or a place or a time or a feeling. Particularly in music, it's called a leitmotif, which is spelled like L-E-I-T and then M-O-T-I-F. So leitmotifs are themes that we hear in music that represent places or characters. So in Star Wars, whenever you see Luke Skywalker, you always hear the same theme for him. Is it the da 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 da? Like you always hear that whenever he's on screen, and that's because that is his theme, and that's a leitmotif. That's essentially what it is. In this scenario, the motif for Odysseus is a guitar. So guitar is Odysseus's instrument. In every single song that Odysseus is in, particularly when he's singing, we hear guitar. And the type of guitar, all the characters have an instrument for them. Odie, it's the guitar, electric guitar. Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's a guitar, but it changes. The guitar changes depending on what kind of mood Odysseus is in. So in this song, it's like very like harsh strums of the electric guitar, which from an analysis standpoint tells us he's quite like angry. He's quite strong. That's what it tells us about this. So you hear it right off the bat as soon as we get into this piece. So like here, you hear the guitar straight away. Like that, you hear the guitar straight away. So also something to note in the beginning part of this that's like really subtle in the back, but you can hear like a ticking sound effect. So if you listen closely,
All right,
like
my brothers, listen closely. Tonight we make the Trojans pay.
can you hear that? It goes from like left to right in each of your ears. I don't know if the music's loud enough, so if it's not, let me know. But you can hear a ticking sound effect, which we learn later on is a motif for. This will be a YouTube video because yes, hi YouTube. That's the hope. So I'm hoping to edit this down into a YouTube video. But yeah, so the ticking we'll figure out later is actually another motif for another person. It's the goddess Athena. One could argue that the ticking sound is for another god called Ares, because we also hear it when Ares sings. Medgron, is that it? Thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. But yeah, that motif is for Athena, though. That's the idea. So yeah, you can hear that ticking in the back of you, like goes from left to right, if you can hear it.
All right, my brothers, listen closely. Tonight we make the Trojans pay.
One could also argue that the ticking's there because he feels like he's on like there's like a time limit to things in a way. But yeah, we hear that like electric guitar for Odysseus there.
10 years of war, they killed us slowly.
Bum 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 bum.
But now we'll be the ones who slay.
And then we hear more.
Think
You know,
of
it's
your
even
wives
like
and your children.
even deeper in the background.
Your families wonder
Where you've been.
they're growing old and yet you're still here. Do what I say and you'll see them again.
Yes, sir.
Diomedes will lead the charge. Agamemnon will flank the guards. Menelaus will let our mates through the gates and take the whole city at large. Teucer will shoot any ambush attacking. Little Ajax will stay back. Nestor, secure Helen and protect
Thank you for the
her.
stretch.
Avenge your father, kill the brothers of Hector.
Yes, sir.
Find that inner strength.
So sorry to pause it. Something that's also worth noting is that the motif for the crew, so the people that are fighting with Odysseus, is drums. So whenever the crew is doing something, you hear drums in the background. So you notice that when I say yes, sir, and they start to like move and take action, you hear the drums come in. So like, so there's no drums here. It's actually just guitar. Hi, Riff Walkers. Thank you for the like. But here you hear the drums come in. You can hear like that drum in the bottom, and you can start to hear like the crew start to chant a lot more. Ask yourself inside, what do you live for? What do you try for? What do you wish for? What do you fight for? What do you live for? What do you try for? What do you wish for? What do you fight for? And here we go, here's another motif. Okay, because Jorge loves motifs. Thank you for the like. So this motif is for Penelope. So Penelope's motif is a violin. One could argue that the violin is a motif just for love in the musical, because we also hear it when we talk to Circe, which is later down the line. But right now it's about Penelope. So he's thinking about Penelope, which is his wife, and you can hear the violin in the background as he does that. And it also like mimics what he's saying, so it's the same like melody that he's doing. Penelope. So I'm not entirely certain on this one, but I think Telemachus, which is his son, has like a harp type instrument or like a lyre, just because it's a similar thing where you can hear his melody, but it's more plucked. It could be plucked on a guitar, which would actually make sense because he's Odysseus' son, but it's more of a plucked rhythm, so it might be a different instrument altogether. Do we also hear it with Calypso? We might do. I'd be really interested to see if we do hear it with Calypso. I realize I'm talking so much. We have so many songs to get through, so I'm gonna try and speed through this.
I fight for us!
I fight for us! Also, there you hear his heartbeat. Quick question before I look. Do you have a decent amount of knowledge music-wise in the music industry by chance? So currently I'm not in the music industry, but I've studied music for over 12 years. I'm also a singer. I've composed a lot of music, and I've produced a lot of music. So I have like a decent understanding of music. So yeah, and I've studied music theory for a long time, and I just really enjoy studying it. So I'd like to say that I have some understanding, but obviously this is just my opinion, so you don't have to take this as gospel or anything.
Penelope. What do you try for?
Telemachus.
What do you wish for?
I'm on my way.
What do you fight for? Attack!
So if you hear that, we hear like the thunder. We can hear the thunder in the back and then like that crash of lightning. That's because Zeus is coming in, and that's what tends to introduce Zeus, because obviously he's god of thunder, so it makes sense. So you can hear here like that crashing. And then for some reason an eagle. I have no idea why, but for some reason he has an eagle as his motif. There's an eagle there.
Of what is to come
Cannot be outrun, can only be dealt with right here and now. Tell me how, I don't think you're ready.
A mission to kill some.
Is Zeus's instrument piano because of a vision? I don't think it's a piano, because piano is the instrument for Athena. So I'm not sure why. I don't think it would be a piano. Sorry, let me listen now.
What's that?
A vision of what is to come cannot.
Also, a beautiful voice. Just want to mention that. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. From what I can hear in the instruments, it's a very low string instrument, so maybe like a cello or a double bass, which would kind of track for Zeus. I wish I liked musicals because the Odyssey is one of my favorite pieces of literature. I think you'd like. I know you're not a big fan of musicals, but this is kind of like more of a concept album. It is a musical, but yeah. Sounds like a grand piano or keyboard to me. I can definitely hear that. It's very subtle, but you can hear like deep strings. So again, like a cello, a double bass, like that kind of thing. Do you know, like the big string instruments?
A vision.
You hear it's like do 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 like underneath.
What is to come cannot be outrun. Can only be dealt with right here and now.
Tell me how, I don't think you're ready.
A mission to kill someone's son. A foe who won't run, unlike anyone you have faced before.
Say no more, I know that I'm ready. I don't think you're ready. Sounds like a bass synth. Yeah. I think that like there is a very subtle like deep string there, but I do think that the main thing that is powering through is a bass synth. So that does make sense. Okay, this is really important to note. So this part of the song leads into Zeus being like, you have to kill someone who won't fight back. And Odysseus is like, I'm ready. And he's like, I don't think you are. And it's just like, yeah, I can do it. And then he looks and he finds out it's a child. So when this part comes in and he sees a child, it's a music box. The instrument that is playing is a music box, which is like it's used a lot of times for children, because that's kind of music that is associated with children. You know, you have like the music boxes, or like those ones that you wind up and it has like a little dancing ballerina and like that type of thing.
I know that I'm ready.
I don't think you're ready.
And if you notice, sorry, I'm gonna be on this song for years, but if you notice there as well, you hear the guitar again, but instead of that electric guitar that we had before, it's a lot more like gentle acoustic guitar, which means it's still Odysseus's feelings, but his feelings have definitely softened because it's a different guitar entirely, but it's also just not as aggressive. Do 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 do, like that melody.
It's just an infant. It's just a boy.
And there's also that violin in the back, which means that maybe while he's looking at the child, he's thinking about Penelope. That could be something we deduce from that.
What of imminent threat does he pose that I cannot avoid?
This is the son of none other than Troy's very own Prince Hector.
Can I point out, there was no need for Zeus to be that wordy with what he was saying. This is none other than Troy's very own Prince Hector. Yeah, it's a good line, but he could have just said the name of the kid. Like, like Odysseus was like, what kind of threat does he pose? He's like, this is none other than Troy's very own Prince Hector. You could have just said, this is Hector's kid. Like, he could have just said that. This is very sassy like that, I know. He's very sassy. We do love him for that. It's just such a mouthful.
This is the son of none other than Troy's very own Prince Hector. Know that
Like, he was trying to get his word count up with that one.
grow from a boy to an avenger, one fumed with rage as you're consumed by age. If you don't end in now.
Also, again, sorry, it's very subtle, but if you've listened to the whole musical, there's a song near the very end of the musical called I Can't Help But Wonder. And in the background of this song, you can hear the motif for that. You can hear the melody of I Can't Help But Wonder. And that melody is played when he meets Telemachus. And so this could potentially imply that, you know, it's alluding to that.
None other than Troy's very own.
We've heard you say this.
One fumed with rage as you're consumed by age.
If you don't end him now, you'll have no one else to save. You can say goodbye to Penelope.
You can say goodbye to.
Again, like, that theme will come up so much, that Penelope theme, that Penelope, that will come up endless times.
Penelope.
I could raise him as my own.
Or send him far away to find you. Make sure his past is
So that, like, he will burn your house and home, that entire melody comes back in a later song. There's a song called Suffering later, where there is a character that sings that exact melody. So later on they sing, he will set you high and low. Like, they sing the exact same melody again. So again, it like links back to that piece, which we'll hopefully touch upon later if I don't talk too much.
I'm on my knees for you.
Oh, this is the will of the gods.
Please don't make me do this. Don't make me do this.
That motif comes back later in Thunderbringer. Did you already watch Epic? I have listened to it countless times. But we're trying to go through this like piece by piece just for people that haven't listened to it, maybe. But I've listened to it an awful lot. I wish I could blind listen to it, but unfortunately I'm a bit of a fiend for this musical. There's a song later called Thunderbringer that has this motif in it. It goes, please don't make me do this, don't make me do this. Which is, again, when he's talking to Zeus about something. So, you know, it's just a reference to that.
The blood on your hands is something you won't lose.
All you can choose is who's.
And that is The Horse and the Infant, pretty much. It is a very good opening song, and didn't become one of my favorites until quite recently. Okay, next we have one of my absolute favorites, which is Just a Man. I love this song so much.
I look into your eyes and I think back to the son of mine. You're as old as he was when I left for war. Will these actions haunt my days? Every man I've slain is the price I pay. Endless pain. Close your eyes and spare yourself the view. How could I hurt you? I'm just a man who's trying to go home, even after all the years away from what I've known. I'm just a man who's fighting for his life. Deep down I would trade the world to see my son and wife. I'm just a man. But when does a comet become a meteor? When does a candle become a blaze? When does a man become a monster? When does a ripple become a tidal wave? When does the reason become the blame? When does a man become a monster? When does a comet become
Oh, I love this song.
a meteor? When does a candle become a blaze? When does a man become a monster? When does a man become a monster? I'm just a man.
Like, what an amazing song, right? Oh my god! I love that song with all my heart and soul. Oh, I love it. Okay, this song is also very important for setting the stage because so many motifs in this come back later. So let's go through this song again as quickly as we can because I will just be here all day and talk about this song. But right off the bat, the motif we talked about earlier where Odysseus has like that guitar representing him, now that guitar is a lot more broken up. It's an acoustic guitar, which means that he's feeling a lot more like calm, but it also implies that he's a bit sad. So there's something in music called an arpeggio, which means that you break up the chord into the individual notes rather than just playing them all at the same time. And it seems to do that whenever he's feeling a bit more sad. So whenever we hear like those notes broken up, that's a little bit more split off, and that implies he's a little bit more on the sad side. I don't understand why he didn't stab Hector and needed to drop him off a wall. He needed to make a spectacle. That's the thing. He needed to show everyone what he was doing. That's why he dropped him off the wall in front of everybody else. Because he needed to show them all that he was doing that. He needed to make a statement. I look into your eyes
And I think back to the son of mine. You're as old as he was.
I don't think there's anything for this part that I picked up.
Will these actions haunt my days? Every man I've slain is the price I pay. Endless pain. Close your eyes and spare yourself the view. How could I hurt you?
So there's that violin in the back again, which, again, for me, I think that sorry. Jorge said that the violin means Penelope. In this case, I don't know if it exactly means Penelope, but it at least means that he's thinking about her in some regard.
I'm just a man who's trying to go home, even after all the years away from what I've known.
So the violin is actually like sort of singing, quote unquote, along with him. It's singing the exact same melody he's singing. So, you know, it's sort of a statement that it's something we call unison in music, which is when something plays like the exact same thing. It kind of symbolizes that, if the violin means Penelope, then in this case that would mean Penelope's kind of saying the same thing as he is, but I don't think that's exactly the case here. I think it's more that while he's talking these thoughts out, he's got Penelope in his mind all the time. And so, yeah, I think that that's what it means in this case, at least.
I'm just a man who's fighting for his life.
We also hear that like harp underneath, which is what I think Telemachus's instrument is. Which again would mean he's thinking about Telemachus, which again would make sense. Just my thoughts, what if Penelope was singing to Telemachus about his dad at the same time as Odie was singing to Hector? That could be a very good point to make. Again, the violin is the same as his melody, so it would make sense that Penelope could be singing the exact same thing as he is, and that's why the violin's there. You know, Odysseus is singing to a baby, just as Penelope might have sung to, you know, a baby, which was Telemachus. So maybe the singing to a child reminds me of her, or maybe they're, you know, actually doing that at the same time. That's a really good point to make. I agree.
Deep down I would trade the world to see my son and wife. I'm just a man.
But
when does a comet become a meteor? When does a candle become a blaze? When does a man become a monster? When?
Okay, something I need to point out here. There is a song later on in the musical, which again I will keep referencing because everything links back, but there's a song called Mutiny later. And in the background of Mutiny is the exact same background as this. So the violin in the background of this next part is the exact same as Mutiny. Like that. Like that violin, it's the same. And so the crew's voice comes in here because this is when Odysseus is holding the baby off the edge. So the crew's voice is there because they're watching this happen. Forgive me. Forgive me. Also, with the Forgive Me's, the last one in that song is the only one that had the violin on it. Every other Forgive Me had, like, as Mutiny in the Underworld Saga, no, it's in the Thunder Saga. So the violin is only on that last Forgive Me, which means that in that last Forgive Me, he's thinking about Penelope again. A lot of people said that also it could imply that, so the baby that he's dropping off the edge, I think his mother's called Helen. I think it's that Helen is like crying or screaming at that point, and that's what the violin's meant to represent. It's meant to represent Helen screaming.
I'm just a man.
No instruments for that last part, which is very nice to hear. Alright, and that's Just a Man, pretty much. Next we have Full Speed Ahead. I love Full Speed Ahead.
Men, 600 men under my command, with only one goal in mind.
Make it back alive to our homeland.
600 men, 600 miles of open sea, But the problem's not the distance,
It's what lies in between.
and Ithaca's waiting. My kingdom is waiting. Penelope's waiting for me. So full speed ahead. Full speed ahead. Captain Eurylicus. 600 men. 600 men with big mouths to feed. And we've run out of supplies to eat.
Curse the war of food stores depleted.
600 men.
600 men.
600 reasons to take what we can. So Captain, what's the plan?
Captain, what's the plan?
Watch where the birds fly.
where the birds
They
fly.
will lead us to land. There will hunt for food, my second in command. Now for speed ahead.
We're off and away we go. We're off and away we go.
Captain,
Polities.
Look! There in the distance, I see an island. I see a light that faintly glows. Maybe they're people lighting a fire. Maybe they'll share some food, who knows?
something feels off here. I see fire, but there's no smoke.
I say we strike first, we don't have time to waste, so let's raid the place and...
No. Polities, gear up. You and I'll go ahead.
You and I'll go ahead.
We should try to find a way no one ends up dead.
We don't know what's ahead.
Give me till sunrise, and if we don't return, then 600 men can make this whole place burn. Now full speed ahead. Full speed ahead. Full speed ahead. We're off and away we go. We're off and away we go. We're off and away we go. We're off and full speed ahead.
Okay, so that was full speed ahead. Sorry, I just need to do one thing that I totally forgot to do. I forgot to tell people that I was live because I'm so smart and so cool, and I'm definitely, I definitely don't forget things ever. Definitely don't. Okay, so, sorry. Okay, back to here. So, here are some notes that I made. Also, I want to say that in Odyssey, Polites doesn't die in the moment he did Epic. He dies a bit later. Yeah, he falls off of Circe's island. Originally, there was actually a song that was made for the person who that was replaced with. So Polites falls off the island, and somebody else goes with him to the island with Polyphemus. But he swapped them around. So Polites goes to the island, and the person in Polites' place, I think it was called... Oh, I can't remember what his name is. I want to say Palamedes, but I don't think it's Palamedes. Okay, so here's what I picked up from Full Speed Ahead. So again, we have those drums that is representing the crew. Excuse me. We have water sounds, which means they're on their boat, they're in the sea. And then we had the guitar kind of doing that plucking melody, which means it's about Odysseus, because Odysseus' instrument is the guitar. So we have the drums of the guitar, which means it's Odysseus and the crew. "600 men, 600 men under my command, with only one goal in mind,
Make it back alive to our homeland.
600 men, 600 miles of open sea. But the problem's not the distance,
it's what lies in between."
and Ithaca's waiting.
I did make what I think is a good point right before you move to Full Speed Ahead about Penelope. Feel free to say. Feel free. If you have any points or anything you'd like to make, then totally feel free. This is more of an open discussion than it is just me yelling at you guys. So here we hear Odysseus talk about waiting. It's under my know that this is happening while Penelope was dealing with that evil dude. I forgot his name. Antinous. She's not dealing with Antinous at this point. So this is right at the start of the well, not the start, but this is like near the start of Odysseus's war journey. And he's about 6 years into the journey at this point. And by the time he gets to Penelope, he's been in that journey for 20 years. So there's still a long time to go before Penelope has to deal with Antinous. And at this point, Antinous would be about 6 years old. So I don't think he'd be too much of an issue, but who knows? I thought she was always dealing with... She probably was dealing with him, but, like, the things we see in the musical and in the song, those kind of happen, like, in the last saga, because it's been about 20 years, so he's a lot older at that point. So, with this... Oh, that's so loud. Penelope's waiting. So that waiting motif is so common in so many songs, particularly about Penelope. Penelope sings a lot about waiting. And also with waiting, so just from like analysis standpoint, they always tend to sing waiting multiple times, and it always changes the melody. And singing it multiple times and changing it means that they've been waiting for a long time. Because they're singing it multiple times, it's changing, they're kind of sitting around and, you know, twiddling their thumbs kind of thing. So that's why we hear the waiting motif so many times when it's sung. My kingdom is waiting, Penelope's waiting for me. So he sings it 3 times there, which means, again, he's talking about waiting for a long time. I always preferred Get in the Water more than Ruthlessness. I love the discussion between Get in the Water and Ruthlessness. Some people, it's always kind of like a 50-50 split. Some people really like Ruthlessness and some people really like Get in the Water. So it's really nice to hear. Full speed ahead, Captain Eurylochus.
600 men.
So if you notice here, so Eurylochus's motif is the drums and the crew. So his motif is actually the crew. So whenever Eurylochus sings, the crew will always do backing vocals and back him up with what he's saying. Most of the time. There's like 1 or 2 times where they don't, and it's because he's saying something they don't agree with. But we can get onto that later. But his motif is the crew and the drums. And you'll hear in this part, the guitar is a lot quieter and the drums are a lot louder. Because again, the drums is about the crew and the guitar is about Odysseus.
600 men with big mouths to feed.
And we've run out of supplies to eat.
Cause the war of food stars depleted.
600 men.
600 men.
600 reasons to take what
I
we
hate this
can.
dude, but when he raps, it's so good, I agree.
Captain, what's the plan?
Watch where the birds fly. They will lead us to land. They will hunt for food, my second in command.
Now for speed
We're off and away we go. So you hear he sings "We're off and away we go," and then the crew come in and back him up in singing that. So like we hear here.
Speed ahead.
Yeah, you see, so the crew just like constantly backs him up. I can't recommend videos here, right? Because I have an amazing one. I mean, if it's related to what we're talking about, then yeah, sure thing. Captain Polites. Look. Okay, so Polites' motif is a shaker. So you know, like kind of like like adjacent to a maraca. It's kind of like that. So you'll hear when Polites starts speaking, you hear that like that shaker.
Captain Polites, look! There in the distance, I see an island, I see a light.
And also notice how the drums stopped as well because the crew's not there. Not really, never mind, it's fine. If you just go into people's chats to try and recommend a video and you're not actually there for their content, then just don't bother. It's not worth it.
Faintly glows. Maybe there are people lighting a fire. Maybe
The character that has an ocarina as an instrument, I'm not too sure. It would make sense that somebody has some kind of woodwind instrument, like a flute or something. But I don't actually know if there's a character that does. So yeah. The video is so amazing, it's worth recommending. If it's not about this topic and it's not about the content, I really don't want to hear it, and I'd appreciate if you can just leave. Thank you.
they'll share some food, who knows?
Something feels off here. I see fire, but
There's
no
that shaking
smoke.
again, you can hear
I
it.
say we strike first. We don't have time to waste, so let's break the place and...
Yo, polities gear up.
Okay, so this next part is really important. So, when Odysseus sings, Polites will sing the same thing. So,
You and I'll go ahead.
you and I'll go ahead. So he says, you and I'll go ahead, and then he says, you and I'll go ahead. They're agreeing, right? So he sings the same thing. But with Eurylochus,
We should try to find a way no one ends up dead.
We don't know what's ahead.
Eurylochus sings a different thing to him, which means he's disagreeing. It's just stuff like that. Like, it's so, like, such fine details that are really interesting to see. Even in just the lyrics, like, just repeating the lyrics is just, oh, it's so musically amazing. It's so well structured. I love this whole musical. I think Aphrodite was a flute, but we'll see when we get there. Yeah, we'll have a see when we get there.
Give me till sunrise, and if
We don't return. I don't think there's any other motifs for the rest of this song, so, or at least nothing that I picked up. So we will move on to the next song. I think I might just start analysing it as we go along, because if I do every song, listen to it, and then analyse it, I'm going to be here all week. So I might just analyse it as we go. Which is completely fine. Okay, next song is Open Arms. We love Open Arms.
You can relax, my friend.
Huh?
I can tell you're getting nervous, so do yourself a service and try to relax, my friend.
I'm fine, polities.
Think of all that we have been through. We'll survive what we get into. I know that you're tired of the war and bloodshed. Tell me,
You can hear it in the background again. You can hear that shaker in the background. It's very subtle, but you can hear it.
is this how we're supposed to live? Look at how you grip your sword, enough said. Why should we take when we could give? You can show a person that you trust.
So this is just a musical theory thing, but like shaker is technically part of percussion, which is drums, and because Polites is part of the crew, he's still contributing to that group motif of drums, but just in his own unique way with like shakers and also clapping. Clapping is also a form of percussion. So he's just, even musically, it's so incredibly smart.
Them when you stop and lower your guard. Here we have a chance for some adjustment.
Give it a try, it's not that hard, I'm telling you.
This life is amazing when you greet it with open arms.
There's also this like xylophone that we hear, which I think it's like one of the only times we really hear a xylophone in the whole thing. Or it could be a glockenspiel. Glockenspiels are like different type of xylophone, but it's one of the two. It's one of those two.
We'll be fine if we're leading from the heart. No matter the place, we can light up the world. Here's how to start. Greet the world with open arms. Greet the world with open arms.
Welcome.
Stay back.
You can hear that sword thing. Even in like, I know it's like a concept album, so there will be sound effects, but you can hear that like swing of the sword. In all epic songs, there's 9 times a character says what to information. What information is a lot. Yeah, I think it's very funny when they say what. They're like, what?
My friend, greet the world with open arms.
We're only here for food. 600 friends are waiting for us to show our faces. Stay back, I'm warning you. If we don't get back safely, my men will turn this place into blazes.
See? This life is amazing when you greet it with open arms. Whatever we face, we'll be fine if we're leading from the heart. No matter the place, so we can light up the world. Here's how to start. Greet the world with open arms. Greet the world with open arms.
I hope I'm not the only one who likes when characters are talking instead of singing in a musical. No, I like that too. I do like it when characters talk. I think that in musicals, obviously the soundtrack is mostly just going to be singing, but in the musical, I think that talking is equally as important. I'm just going to turn my light on. Hold on. I have a little lamp that I have on my desk, and it makes everything brighter now that it's quite dark. Oh, okay. So, what I will do is let's set off. my shopping is almost here. So we're going to listen to the end of this, and then we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back. So we'll listen to the end of this.
My friend, I wish that I could say that I agree. But look at the way this fruit is glowing and filled with glowing seeds. It took me a while to notice just what kind of fruit they eat. It's a lotus, it controls your mind and never lets you free. That's what we'd get with open arms.
Lotus eaters, I'd like to show my friend that kindness is brave.
Oh, that'll be my shopping. I'll be 1 second. Sorry about that. My shopping had arrived and I had to go grab it. But yeah, open arms. Sorry.
Could you tell me where there's other food to eat?
Okay.
A cave! You're saying there's a cave where we could feast.
Notice how in the background as well that guitar is starting to come in, which means that Odysseus is starting to like warm up to this idea.
And where do we sail to find this food-filled cave?
East that way.
Thank you.
Welcome.
This life is amazing when you greet it with open arms. I see in your face there is so much guilt inside your heart. So why not replace it and light up the world? Here's how to start. Greet the world with open arms. Greet the world with open arms.
Greet the world with open arms.
You can relax, my friend.
That is also another motif of his, saying you can relax, my friend. That is another thing that we hear a lot of Polites. Alright, next. Oh, Warrior of the Mind.
Have you forgotten?
Okay, right off the bat, there are so many things to go into. So a thing we hear with Athena is she has this thing called Quick Time, which is an ability that she has. And it's basically where she can make time go very, very slow. Yeah, it's something that she's able to give to people. And we see her give it to Odysseus and later on give to Telemachus. And the motif for Quick Time is this like stuttering kind of thing where it's like like that thing at the beginning. That's the motif for Quick Time. Also, when Athena starts singing, you hear this ticking in the background because obviously with the Quick Time, you know, it's time. So you can hear that ticking in the back. Also, Athena's motif is piano. So underneath, you'll hear this like piano melody. It's like dun 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 dun.
Athena!
There you go. Dun 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 dun.
Turn off your heart. This is not you.
You can hear it there.
I see you changing from how I've designed you.
That piano has come back again, and that ticking still in the back.
Have you forgotten your purpose?
Let me remind you.
Goddess of wisdom. Master.
Again, there's so much piano in this, and it's so beautiful because we don't really hear piano up until this point because piano is Athena's instrument. It could also be argued that because of the ticking thing that in Horse and the Infant, Odysseus was in Quick Time then, or he was like, you know, had some kind of like influence from Athena, which she is the goddess of wisdom and battle strategy, so it kind of makes sense that she'd be present then. Again, that ticking.
Life has one mission.
Create the greatest warrior.
I had a challenge, a test of skill, a magic bar only the best could kill. One day a boy came for the thrill, a boy whose mind rivaled the bar's own will.
Let's go!
Maybe one day he'll fall.
The fact that he says let's go implies that there's something going on there. I don't think like they'd be dancing, obviously, but like maybe when she's appeared to him, maybe they have some kind of spar, or maybe, you know, some kind of like interaction between them two. Because let's go implies that they're jumping into some kind of action. So, you know, maybe it's some kind of like they're sparring or something.
Follow me and
We'll make a greater tomorrow.
then they'll see I know he'll change the world 'cause
He is a warrior of the mind.
maybe one day.
Okay, so there's something musically that I'd really like to break down about that note. You know, it's like, warrior of the mind. Okay, we'll get to it in a second.
I'll reach him and we can build his skills as I teach him. If there's a problem, he'll have the answer. He's a warrior of the mind.
So at the moment, this is like a flashback to when Odysseus and Athena first met. So maybe when Odysseus says let's go, he's talking about going to that flashback or reliving that moment. See that stuttering thing? That's because they're in quick time.
Show yourself. I know you're watching me.
Show yourself.
I can see you.
How can you see through my spell?
I was lying, and you fell for my bluff.
I don't think there's a single person in Epic who can laugh normally. No, I agree. None of them laugh normally.
Well done.
Again, that ticking has come back in the background.
What's your name?
You first, and maybe I'll do the same.
Nice try for two. Can play.
Also, this song is just a mixture of their instruments. There's piano, but there's also electric guitar underneath, but there's that ticking, but there's also like some small level of drums. So it's just mixing their two instruments together in like a really nice potion. It's so good.
Play this game.
Nah, don't be modest.
I know you're a goddess, so let's be honest, you are Athena.
Badass arena.
Unmatched with the end queen of the best strategies we've seen.
If you're looking for a mentor, I'll make sure your time's well spent.
Sounds like a plan, goddess and man, the best is a friend. We'll see where it ends.
Maybe
This is like a really charismatic song for Odysseus, and I think the reason he sounds like he's so much more charismatic when they're doing this flashback is because he met Athena when he was younger. You know, he's really cocky, really bold, really like, look what I can do. Whereas when you hear him sing in other things, like even in Open Arms, he's just not receptive to anything kind of lighthearted. So it's really nice to see Odysseus kind of like liven up a little bit here. Because this is when he was younger, when he was, you know, a bit more energetic.
one day they'll follow me and we'll make a
And then they sing together and harmonize. Harmonies in singing, especially in like musicals and like musical writing, often symbolizes that two people have some kind of relationship together. And the harmony in this is it works well together. There's something in music we call dissonant, which means that the notes kind of clash. So you know when you hear two notes that don't work well together and you're like, ooh, that sounds off. That's dissonance. But the harmony works well together, which means they work well together, you know?
Then they'll see I know.
It's also worth mentioning that, like, she sings the main line and he sings the harmony, which in itself is main line, which means Athena is the main thing, and Odysseus is the harmony, which is the backup line, which means that Athena is, like, the important part here, and Odysseus is backing her up in sort of a way in that Athena is higher up in the hierarchy, which makes sense because she's a goddess.
We'll change the world 'cause
We are the warriors of the mind. Okay, this is what I wanted to talk about. So Athena is a mentor or a teacher for Odysseus, right? So she teaches him and she's training him, right? Which is what a teacher does. She sings a flat note. She says, warrior of the mind. She sings that flat note. Whereas Odysseus sings, warrior of the mind. So he's taking what he's learnt from her and putting his own spin on it. Because he's not singing a flat note. He's singing a bunch of different notes. So it's kind of like how you learn something and then you use it in practice, or you put your own spin on it. So he's using what he's learned, which is those those lyrics and those lines, and he's turning that into his own thing, which he's making his own little melody.
Maybe one day we'll reach them, and we can build their skills as we teach them. If there's a problem, we'll have the answer. We are the warriors of the mind.
And again, this time she sings that with him, which means that she's receptive to what he's doing. And she's, again, working with him at the different changes that he makes.
I still intend to make sure you don't fall behind.
Don't forget that you're a warrior of a very special kind. You are a warrior of the mind. Don't disappoint me. Oh, what an amazing song. And again, you hear that stutter at the end, which means that quick time ends and he comes back to reality. Which means that while he's talking to Polites, this whole song is all in quick time in his head. So Polites doesn't see any of this, which is really interesting to see. And that is the end of the Troy saga. That's the first saga. Sagas in this ones are quite short. But yeah, that is the first saga over and done with. We got it through the first one, guys. So after that, we have the Cyclops saga, which I'd argue is one of my least favorites. But it's still got really good music in it, and it very much sets the stage for a lot of things. So this is Polyphemus. Straight off the beginning, we hear sheep sounds. We hear sheep. We hear like bah. We hear sheep, and then you hear the pluck of a bow and arrow, and then a shot. And you hear that like squelchy flesh sound, which means that they shot the sheep.
Over here.
And in the background, again, for Odysseus, you have that guitar already.
Look at all this food.
And again, for Polites, you hear that shaker come in as he starts singing. Again, everyone's got their own instruments.
Look at all these sheep. I can't believe this cave has all this for us to keep.
I gotta hand it to you both.
This is quite the treat.
Your favorite song, the Polyphemus, is your favorite? That's so cool. I've never met someone who has Polyphemus as their fave, but you know what? Very base take.
There are enough sheep here to feed the entire fleet.
It's almost too perfect, too good to be true.
Why would the Lotus Eaters pass up on all this?
So something that we hear there is this very, very high-pitched instrument in the back. I think it's a violin. I'm not too sure. I don't think the instrument is relevant in this case, but it's very high-pitched, and it's like a screeching almost. It's like dee-dee, dee-dee. And that in itself implies that it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the music. The rest of the music, we have everything that you know, it's in the right rhythm, it's in the right melody, it all works together, and then all of a sudden you have this dee-dee that comes in out of nowhere. And that is often used as a way for characters to kind of symbolize that something's wrong. Is that when something's out of place in the music, it implies that something feels wrong, which again, Odysseus is like, something's not right here. And that's why that music, it's kind of like you know that voice in the back of your head? That's what it's meant to signify. It's that kind of like high-pitched like squeaking in the back of your mind. And then just complete silence. And the thing is that in that small gap where there's complete silence and no one says anything, the music is the same. So it means that everyone's just kind of stood still and nothing's happening. So, you know, like the Cyclops speaks, and everyone's just like, shit. Because nothing changes. You just hear that. Like, Nothing changes. Do you know what instrument the Cyclops is? I'm not too sure. Because off the bat, I'd say that a violin, something called a trill, which is basically where it goes, like, that's a trill. So I would say it's maybe that. In Open Arms, one of the lotuses said scary cave, not just cave. Oh, that's so cool! I didn't even notice that. Yeah, they say scary cave. Yeah, so they kind of alluded to there's something not right about it. Oh, that's so cool.
Hey there.
I think maybe the Cyclops' motif could maybe be that, like, pounding drum underneath. It's like the boom, boom, like that underneath. It could be that.
We're just travelers. We come in peace.
You killed my sheep.
No, that's the instrument. That's what it is. It's that low, like, string instrument. It's that cello underneath. That's what it is. You hear that? That cello. That's his instrument. The second he started speaking, you heard it.
What gives you the right to deal?
Which means that it isn't Zeus's motif.
Don't you know that pain you sow is pain you reap? Time to drink your blood over you.
So underneath, it's very quiet, hard to hear, not looking for it. Yeah, so it's very, like, it's a lot more prevalent when it's just that instrument and him singing. When he starts singing here and things start to pick up, you hear that, like, there's really fast instruments underneath. Something's going like underneath, and that's because everyone's scared, everyone's panicked, their heart rate's high. The instrument's meant to replicate that, like, sense of panic, and everyone's getting a little bit frightened. You can hear it underneath here, like that underneath. And again, under Polyphemus, you can hear that that cello still.
That it's not so fun to take. You came to my home to steal, but now you'll become my meal. A trade you see, take from you like you took from me.
There's been a misunderstanding. We never came here.
It's very, very subtle, but you can hear that acoustic guitar in the background. You can hear it underneath Odysseus.
To steal, but now that
And again, those drums, that's because of the crew. Those, like, almost war drums, I want to say, but, like, you can hear those drums.
we've done some damage. Maybe you and I can make a deal. I'll give you our finest treasure, so long as we leave alive.
You can take the world's best tasting wine.
Wine.
Have a drink, one sip and you'll understand the power that's in your hands. A wine so fresh, you'd never want to eat human flesh again. Then we shall be on our way.
No bloodshed in here today.
A trade you see, a
Gift from you and a gift from me. So he's singing the same melody that the Cyclops is singing. Gift from you and a gift from me. He's singing the same thing that the Cyclops sang, which means he's trying to explain it in terms that the Cyclops will understand. He's trying to talk in the Cyclops' terms. He's trying to, keep things as level as they can be. And then he drinks the wine.
Thank you.
Stranger, what's your name?
My name is Nobody. Nobody. Nobody.
Nobody. For your gift, I've one to reply.
I'm so glad we see eye to eye.
I think it's very funny how he said eye to eye, because the Cyclops only has one of those. Which in itself symbolizes that they're just not on the same page. You can't say you see eye to eye with someone when one person has two and the other only has one. Is it just me, or is only Odysseus that makes words long by adding, like, letters? What do you mean? Do you mean, like, he just makes things longer? Like, he just sings things longer? Like, nobody. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yes, you shall be the final man to die.
Also, you can hear underneath there's like a kick drum, but it's also like you can hear it's like a heartbeat. There. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. You can hear after he says die, the heartbeat stops. You can see like his heart maybe stops a little.
Watch out!
And again, seamless okay, maybe not seamless because there was a little bit of a, stall. But usually it's a seamless transition into the next song. Which just means there's no time to waste. Like, it happens straight away. And here you can hear underneath they're singing Polyphemus, but they're singing Polyphemus. So going Polyphemus. Yeah, and he's angry.
My brothers, the rest of our fleet, they wait at the beach, and if we're defeated, then
Again, underneath, I shouldn't need to say it at this point, but we've got those drums for the crew, we've got that electric guitar for Odysseus.
good is dead. Straight ahead, that is who
And they're all a
we're
lot
fighting.
faster. Like, they're a lot faster and, like, aggravated because obviously they're about to die.
No backup, no chance for support, so draw out your swords. Our foe must be thwarted right here and now. Show me how great is your will to survive. 600 lives at stake, it's just one life to take. And when we kill him, then
It's probably nothing and probably just me making links where there aren't any, but that violin is back in his head. Like, that violin's back again. Which, when he said it's just one life to take, that could also allude to when he had to kill the baby. It's just one life to take. But this is easy because it's a big scary Cyclops. And it's not like, a defenseless infant. But that violin's back in there. We've not heard that violin for a while. So...
our journey's over. No dying on
Again, those fast-paced drums.
defeat is not allowed. We must live through this day, so fight, fight, fight.
Wah!
Surround him, attack from behind.
So again, you have now that electric guitar's like picking up a lot more. It's a lot more aggressive, but also the crew's starting to sing with him because they're working with him and they're taking action.
Keep distance in mind and stay in his blind spot and strike his heels.
Strike your heels!
Show him that we're deadly. Exhaust him.
Exhaust him!
Don't let him get close. He's strong, but he's slow. He can't let
Underneath as well, you can hear that cello again starting to make like in music we call it staccato, which means instead of playing like long rhythms, particularly it's quite prevalent on string instruments. Instead of playing like long strokes with the bow, you go like very, very short ones. I can't really demonstrate because I'm trying to use my hands, so I have to use my head when I do this. But like, usually you do like long strokes with the bow and another long stroke, but then it's like it's very jolted. You can hear it's like dun dun dun, like that staccato, and that's because again, Polyphemus is aggravated.
the blow if we're out of reach. Find a breach.
Stand up and fight for your lives.
600 lives to save. It's just one life to take. And when we kill him, then our journey's over. No dying on us now. Defeat is not allowed. We must live through this day, so fight, fight, fight.
The fact that they're singing the exact same thing that he sang is because they're relaying his actions. Whatever he's told them, they're doing it exactly as he's asked it. They're very efficient soldiers. We hear that roaring because obviously he's getting attacked.
Captain.
Now, this is very important. Here, he gets Polites gets struck, and Polites gets killed, sadly.
Enough.
Again, that cello's back.
He's got a club! What are our orders? Captain! Captain!
And again, the fact that, like, that person said captain, his words were cut off, means that as he was screaming, he got, like, squashed by that club. So, like, this is, like, very grotesque way of musically representing that people are dying. Yeah. And you can hear, like, that stone crumble almost. Like, after each hit, you can hear it.
You've hurt me enough. 600 lives I'll take. 600 lives I'll break. And when I kill you, then my pain is over. You're dying here and now.
And again, like, Polyphemus is singing that melody that Odysseus sang back to him, like, da 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 da. He's, like, singing that back to him because he's taking what Odysseus has done, and he's like, okay, you do this, I'm gonna do this, but higher. I'm gonna do it better. I'm gonna do more. So he's doing what Odysseus is doing, and he's doing it back, which is why he's replicating that melody. Odie's stunlocked, isn't he? Yeah. This is Odysseus is not saying anything because he just watched one of his best friends die. He was so, like, vocal and enthusiastic. Did you mention the Eurylochus saying fuck? Oh no, I didn't! Is that in Survive? That's in it's in Polyphemus. I'll have to go back. That's a hijack. I'll have to go back to it.
Escape is not allowed. You won't live through this day. Now die.
Okay, sorry, I have to go back. So in Polyphemus, when Odysseus is talking about his name, it's like, stranger, what's your name? You hear Eurylochus very, very softly. He just goes, fuck. You can hear it. Hold on.
Like you took from me.
There's been a mist
What does he...
Feel the pain so deep.
Where is it?
can keep the human. My name is no.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
You see, a gift from you and a gift from me.
I'd like to thank you. Stranger, what's your name?
It's really subtle, but you can hear Eurylochus go, fuck. I'm gonna play it again. Hold on.
I'd like to thank you. Stranger, what's your name?
My
It's so good. I love it. Oh, gosh. Okay. I think we got to the end of Survive, didn't we? Oh, God. Fuck. Yeah, we did. Okay. Now for Remember Them. That's that guitar. So that's like an electric guitar, and it's kind of like coming in and it's like swaying because, like, Odysseus is so spaced out right now. He's not thinking. So this guitar coming in, and obviously you hear Eurylochus start shouting, and it slowly fades in. Like that electric guitar. It's all muffled as well. Again, it's because he's not thinking. He's struck.
Captain! Captain!
we must move quickly.
And then everything's clearer
We
now.
don't have much time. He didn't notice I mixed lotus.
So here we only hear the guitar right now because it's just Odysseus thinking. The crew isn't working with him right now. He's trying to come up with a battle plan.
In his wine. Mark my words now. This is not the end.
But Captain, what do we do with our fallen friends?
Remember them when the fire
And those drums are there, and that electric guitar. He's really angry.
afraid. We are not to let them die in vain.
Remember them!
We're the ones who care.
Yeah, and then Eurylochus sings with him because, again, right-hand man, he's agreeing with him, and he's like, okay, is that fuck the only swear word in the whole musical? No, they swear a bunch. In Ruthlessness, Poseidon says that he's getting pissed off. I'm pretty sure they say a bunch of things other places as well.
The flames of those who've gone. and our comrades will not die in vain. I need all our hands on this cloak. This is how we're getting out of here. Use your swords to sharpen this stuff and turn it to a giant spear.
Let's kill him!
His body is blocking the
Again, you have that
path.
crew underneath.
The killer will be stuck inside.
You have those drums and electric guitar.
We attack him. We gotta stab him in the eye.
Yes, sir! Remember them
And again,
when the fire
they come back and they sing Odysseus's melody after he's asked them to do something, which means they're doing it exactly as he's asked.
for the fallen and afraid. We are not to let them die in vain.
Remember them.
We're the ones who carry on the flames of those who've gone, and our comrades will not die in vain.
Also, underneath that, you can hear this, like, oh my god, amazing electric guitar riff, because Odysseus is feeling so angry and, like, furious and pumped right now. Listen to that guitar riff.
And our comrades will not die in vain. Now!
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Who hurts you? There are more of them? Who hurts you?
One could argue that because that piano comes in, again, the piano is Athena's motif, so one could argue that as there's more of them, he's starting to take Athena's influence and use Athena's techniques to really assess the situation here. Which is why later in the song, we do hear Athena.
Hurts you? Captain, we should run. Wait. Who hurts you? Captain, please. Wait. It was nobody. Nobody. If nobody hurts you, be silent. Don't go.
It's an important thing to note that when Polyphemus is singing, it's just him, whereas when they're like, oh, if nobody hurts you, be silent, there's harmonies under that, which means that there's more than one Cyclops saying that to him.
Let's grab the sheep and away we go.
Again, that piano, Athena's back. And that quick
Have
time,
you forgotten the lessons I taught you?
and the ticking as well.
He's still a threat until he's dead. Finish it.
No.
No.
What good would killing do when mercy is a skill more of this world could learn to use? My friend is dead, our foe is blind, the blood we shed, it never dries. Is this what it means to be a warrior of the mind?
Don't.
So, again, there's that ticking, there's that piano, there's that quick time sound. Athena's there. Athena's, talking to him and working with him. But when he sings Warrior of the Mind, it's a melody of that we've never heard before. He says, this is what it means to be a warrior of the mind. He's never sang that melody before, which means he's going to do something completely different, which is not one of Athena's teachings.
Hey, Cyclops! When we met, I led with peace, while you fed your inner beast. But my comrades will not die.
Are those sheep safe to eat? And I assume they also fed on the lotus. Probably. Probably. But yeah, we also don't hear the piano anymore because Athena isn't supporting his decision.
In vain, remember them. The next time that you dare, choose not to spare. Remember them.
Remember us. Remember me.
I'm the reigning king of Ithaca.
Oh, oh, oh.
I am neither man nor mythical. I am your darkest moment.
Here we go. Hit him with it.
I am the infamous Odysseus!
And there you hear like wood creaking, which sounds like the ship is sailing away. So it sounds like, again, he's leaving. One could argue that he said this while on the ship. Like, they're sailing off, and he's like, fuck you! And he just shouts out of nowhere. Dumbass, don't dox yourself! Yeah, no idea why he did that, but, he did that. Oh, My Goodbye. What a great song. Again, we have that piano. And that quick time sound as well.
You are reckless.
And that ticking in the back. Again, all Athena's motifs.
That's not a teaching of mine. You've grown soft. Your dead friends can attest.
Hey,
Put your emotions aside. You're a warrior.
But this one, she says, your dead friends can test. He goes, hey, this is a conversation. This isn't a flashback. This is like an active conversation they're both having.
Mentally, the
Also, the fact that she's singing and he says, hey, and he speaks it means that he's not engaging with her on the same wavelength yet. He's not. He's just listening to her and he's like, all right, knock it off.
best. I don't know where I went wrong, but I warned ya, and you failed the test. So now I'm gone. This way, you'll know what your place is. This way, you can't cross.
So Athena's melody is dun 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 dun. You hear that melody very slowly here underneath this, so you'll hear it like
You'll know what your place is. This
dun
way,
dun dun
you can't
dun
cross
dun
the
dun.
line.
There you go, you hear it underneath.
When all is over,
You
you'll
keep yours and I'll keep mine.
This way, you won't disappoint me. This way, you won't waste my time. This way, I'll close the door.
The first few times I listened to Epic, I didn't think much of My Goodbye, but I think it must be a top 5 for me, top 10 at least. It's definitely grown on me. It's definitely becoming one of my favorites. It's so good. Also, hello, Biffy.
This is my goodbye.
that's just like you.
And again, that piano's gone now, that ticking's gone. We go back to that guitar for Odysseus.
Eyes, selfish and prideful and vain.
Hello,
Like
Biffweed.
you, every time someone dies, I'm left to deal with the strain. What's the title that it got?
So that guitar picks up now because he's getting angrier. You know, it started quite soft, but it's picking up. It's getting more aggressive.
And if I'll never sleep at night, I'll remind you I saw you as a friend. But now we're done this way. You're out of my head now this way. You won't plague my life this way. When all is done, you're out of sight and out of mind this way. You get what you wanted this way. You can save your time this way. You close the door and have your damn goodbye.
You're not looking for a mentor. I'm not looking for a friend.
Again, that piano is back.
Looking for a dead man. What a waste of effort spent.
At least I know what I'm fighting for while you're fighting to be known. Since
So this is really weird because in the background of his, you hear that piano, which means that what he's saying, at least from a musical standpoint, what he's saying isn't wrong in regards to Athena. It's still right, and she's taking what he's saying quite personally.
you're so much wiser, why's your life spent all alone? You're alone.
Which makes sense. And again, that very, very soft piano.
One day you'll hear what I'm saying. One day you might understand. One day, but not today. For after all, you're
Just
this day you said.
So she's like, not poking fun, but she's bringing his own words back to him, you know, the Just a Man. But if you hear in the Just a Man, it's not just her saying it. It's there's a lot of people. You can definitely hear Eurylochus in there. You can hear Polites in there. Everyone's like, well, you're just a man. So she's like, well, that's all you are. You're just a man. And she's just like, she's dropping him on the curb. Odie in the song doesn't sound as viscerally angry as he gets later on. I do like the different kinds of anger he gets to show, hey, yeah. It's this is more of like a frustration than it is like a genuine anger.
Over your own head this day. You cut the line this day. You lost it all. Consider this as my goodbye. Consider this as my goodbye. This is
And again, there's loads of those like backing vocals underneath, which means that like we hear sometimes with Athena, but there's also different vocals in there, which means that it's other people. So again, there's Polites and Eurylochus in there, which means that they're kind of backing up what she's saying, not directly, but emotionally. Also, thanks Tokugo for the follow. Thank you. Welcome on in. Hydration, I definitely need that. I will have a little sip. Hey Lyrian chats, have a good day while I'm new here. Hello.
my goodbye.
kind of hear like those little twinkling effects, which implies that like she just kind of faded into dust. But the piano is still there. And that quick time sound again as it ends. And then there's the wind. You hear like these wind sound, it kind of blows away that dust, and yeah, she's gone. Bye bye Athena. And that's the end of the Cyclops saga. We already got through 2 sagas already. So next, I think we'll do the Storm saga. Oh, thank you for the stretch. Oh, thank you. We'll do the Storm saga, and then we might leave it there and pick the rest up another day. We'll see how we're feeling. But we'll start with the Storm saga. Oh my gosh. Before we even start, something about Storm. Okay, this is a really big music nerd thing. Names, is it Luong? Is that how you say it? I'm Vietnamese, nice to meet you all. Lovely to meet you too. So something really cool about this song, that is going to make me sound like an absolute nerd, but let me explain it as simply as I can. Most songs in this soundtrack are in a quadruple time, which means they're in 4/4, which basically just means the rhythm goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know? That's what we kind of hear. And that's very typical. And usually, those kind of beats, what we call a time signature or a meter, those tend to represent what kind of song we have. So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you hear something that's a bit more like an example of this is in Shawshank Redemption. The opening song in the soundtrack for that is in 2/4, which we call marching time, and it's because people are marching in it. So it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and it's like a marching beat. Storm is in a very, very odd meter, which is 7/8, which means it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. It's really weird. But it's meant to represent that the storm is very like turbulent and not predictable. We'll get into it as we get into the song, but I'll show you what I mean. Like, if we go to My Goodbyes, just so we can hear this time signature, so I can show you what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, it's in 4/4. Whereas when we get to Storm, I do also think the brass is a motif for Poseidon. The brass. I think that's just a theory, but we'll see. A game theory. So here we'll count the rhythm. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's really weird.
These waves and tides have grown in strength inside.
Matthew Pathy follows me everywhere I go. Matthew Pathy was the first VTuber. I'm just saying, he was the first VTuber.
Is it nature or divine or a blessing in disguise?
So, as I've said every song, because I just need to, bring back this motifs here, but we hear that electric guitar for Odysseus. We hear that in the background. We hear those drums for the crew. And I think the brass has got something to do with Poseidon or the storm, because we've not heard brass in the entire musical yet. We've not heard a single piece of brass. No trumpets, no tubas, no trombones, nothing. And then suddenly we hear it as soon as the song opens. No, was the annoying orange? No, you're right, you're spitting.
Our homes inside. This storm's our final fight. There's no time to die. Comrades! Sir! Brace for a storm! The likes of which we've never seen before. Brace for a storm! With hope so close we must.
Something that we also haven't heard is, like, on drums they have like the big metal disc on it. That's called a cymbal, and when you hit it, it goes and it like crashes. We've not heard a cymbal in the entire thing, and cymbals are usually quite loud and destructive sounds, which is why when drummers play with them, sometimes they hit the cymbal and they grab it with their hands to stop the sound from carrying on, because it's just very, very loud. And this is the first time we hear a cymbal in the whole musical, which again just implies a storm is very like turbulent, it's very destructive, it's very aggressive.
Keep pushing forward, full speed ahead, towards the island
There's that guitar in the background.
The tide is flat and then you will be saved.
Captain, we will capsize with these waves, our fleet will fail.
Have them follow my ship, all ensure that we prevail.
We're taking too much damage to survive.
We'll beat the storm.
Storm.
At this rate, we won't make it out alive.
Captain. That's who the flute's for. It's for Aeolus. So you can hear Aeolus's motif there. You know, you can hear that on the flute. Here. Which is, you know, the never really know who you can trust. Like that. It's that. So it's the first sighting we see of Aeolus is we see the island and we hear that flute motif. Very fitting that they get the wind instruments. Exactly. It's like it's so like even the instruments like put down to the finest things is just so well thought through. Like Jorge is just an amazing writer. I love his writing. Also, you hear that drum in the background that sounds like a heartbeat. It's because he's finally got a second to just like listen to it. He's been so focused on the storm, he just heard that bum 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 in the back. After how rough the rest of the song sounds, the serenity of the island and the sky is really hits as a contrast. No, exactly. Hi, Pat the Panda. Thank you for following.
You really
You can hear that heartbeat.
As many as you can find.
What do you have in mind?
We're gonna shoot for the sky.
What?
I just find it really funny how he's like, what? He just does not understand what's going. He's like, I'm sorry, excuse me? I'd be so down if we did a musical around Hercules' story. I'd love that. We already have, like, I guess, Disney's Hercules, so I guess... and that's becoming a musical soon, so I guess there's not much room for that.
Everyone grab a harpoon and aim it high.
We're shooting for the island in the sky, in the sky. Okay, this is just another nerd thing, but something in music we call word painting, and it's when like the actual music itself reflects what they're talking about or what's happening in the song. And so when he says sky, the note that he sings physically goes higher. So he goes in the sky, yeah. So when he sings sky, he physically sings higher, which again is word painting, which is a very, very cool and interesting technique. In the sky. And all that kind of fades as like they manage to make it out the storm. I do like the what's, but some parts of the musicals overuse it a bit. Keep Your Friends Close has two of them like 20 seconds apart. I do agree. I think that the musical writing, again, very well done, but I think that like the verbal parts in terms of, not the singing isn't verbal, but like the speaking parts, I guess, they can sometimes be a bit lackluster in my opinion. Not like as in they're bad, but I do agree that they use what a lot. Everyone's just confused. Okay, next we have... Oh my god! An amazing song, mind you. An amazing song! We're just one away. It's time! Okay, so I find this song very funny because of a video that I watch with my friends. So this is gonna be funny to me and no one else but them, but... The lyrics can feel like a stretch to rhyme at part, either trying too hard to slant rhyme or speaking too unnaturally. Yeah, sometimes they can be a bit off. I think that there's definitely some parts in particular that definitely could be workshopped in a little bit of a better manner. But I think overall I don't think it's awful. Especially for like his first musical, I think he's done a relatively good job. So but yeah, I do agree that some parts are a bit of a stretch. The snake breaks me line is perfect. No. Please don't tell me you're about to do what I think you'll do. So that line definitely comes back later. So let's remember that.
You've heard the legends of the island in the sky. This proves they're true. We're in the home of the wind god.
We don't know for sure.
How many floating islands have you seen before?
I love that part. He's like, we're in the home of the wind gods. He's like, how do you know? And he's like, maybe take a look at the big fucking floating island, idiot. Oh god, I love that. I love it so much. It's so silly. Also, in the Odyssey, the island wasn't actually floating. It was just floating above the water. But Jorge liked to imagine that it was actually floating in the sky. So that's why he thought, I love the island floating to misunderstanding, how I just ran with it. Yeah, I think it was you that told me that, yeah. It was either you or Callum told me like today or yesterday, but I remember somebody in recent proximity telling me about it. So yeah, it's nice to know that he's still got his own interpretations of it, but he's stuck to what the Odyssey is, which is quite nice.
We don't know for sure.
How many floating islands have you seen before? This is the home of the wind gods. Because he says this is the home of the wind gods again, he's like reiterating that point to Eurylochus. He's like, this is the home of the wind gods. How do you know? There's a floating island. This is the home of the wind gods. Like, he's reiterating that point again.
Your plan.
I'm gonna climb to the top
And ask him for a hand.
You could be caught off guard and lose your life, or piss off this god and infuse us with strife.
Don't forget how dangerous the gods are.
Have faith, friend, we've come this far.
Yes, but how much longer till your luck runs out? How much longer till the show goes south? How much longer till we all fall down? You rely on wind and people die on it. Whoa.
I still believe
Great song.
in goodness. I still believe that we could be kind.
Again, it's a lot softer there because he's talking about being nice and calmer. It's a lot like, it's a nice vibe. I don't know why, but you could get caught off guard kind of feels a bit like the kind of song you'd see at the sad part of an animated movie before the third act. Yeah, you could get caught off guard. Yeah, I agree. Am I the only one hearing a flute like Aeolus is listening the whole time? There might be.
Lead from the heart and see what starts.
And what will we do when it tears us apart?
There's no flute in it, but there's a very high, like, the guitar's quite high, which again means he's thinking about things quite softly. We tend to associate deeper, lower instruments with something a bit more, like, violent and gritty, and then high-pitched instrument with something softer and calmer. So, yeah, I think it's the high guitar in the background is Odysseus kind of being a bit more calm.
Where is this coming from, my friend?
Again, there's that guitar.
Another life and you're like the brother I could never do without.
And suddenly you doubt that I could figure this out.
Captain, how much longer till your luck runs out? How?
And notice again, Eurylochus's motif is the crew. The crew backs him up. So now he's singing this again, but the crew is singing with him. They're backing him up. They're giving him backing vocals. Eurylochus's motif is always the crew, because it's him and the crew.
Much longer till the show goes south. How much longer till we all fall down? You rely on wit and people die on it. Whoa, how much longer till the snake breaks free? How much longer till your great day sees? How much longer till your strength takes leave? You rely on wit and people die on it. Whoa.
Thank you for the concern, but brother, I can assure you.
Alone with perfection, me thinks, shut up. Shut up.
Thank you for the concern, but brother, I can assure you, our journey is almost done. I understand that we're tired, I understand that we're phased, but don't forget how much we've already faced. I took 600 men to war, and not one of them died there.
In case you needed a reminder.
If you'd like to speak more, let me pull you aside then. I need to talk to you in private.
I totally imagine when he does this, he's just, let me talk to you in private. And he grabs him by the scruff of the neck and he's like, listen up, fucker. I can't have you doing this. Just like fully gets angry at him. Would only get rope burn though, because the harpoon rope is, I assume, the thing he's climbing on. Yeah, probably. Hi, Dino. Hello.
I can't have you planting seeds of doubt. I can't have you disagreeing each route.
Also, okay, very fine detail, but the backing part of this bit is the same that we hear in Mutiny. So the backing bit here.
Planting seeds of doubt. I can't have
Hi, Callum. Sorry, I need to find the right bit.
I can't have you planting seeds of doubt. I can't have you disagreeing each route.
So we hear that in Mutiny when Eurylochus is just like, I'm starving my friend. Like, when he sings that, that's what we hear underneath. So again, it's a motif linking back to this, because he also sings a similar thing in Luck Runs Out. In Mutiny, he sings motifs from Luck Runs Out, because it's a conversation they're both having, where Odysseus is like, this is what we're doing, and Eurylochus is like, I don't know about this. And in Mutiny, Eurylochus is like, this is what we're doing, and Odysseus is like, I don't know about this. You ever played Sea of Thieves? I have. Oh, hit me with it, Dino. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Mutiny is basically a darker reprise of this entire song. No, literally, yeah. Mutiny is... No, yeah, it's literally just the reprise for this, yeah.
I need you to always be devout and comply with this, or we'll all die in this. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
He sounds so, like, fed up. He's like, thank you. In the Odyssey, Eurylochus and Odysseus actually really hated each other. Or Eurylochus was like, I think Odysseus' second cousin. And so Odysseus' parents, when Odysseus left, was just like, take Eurylochus with you, like, take your brother with you, kind of thing. So they didn't actually get on. He probably said, I need you to be a good boy, listen to me. Listen up, fucker. But that's Luck Runs Out, and then we get to Keep Your Friends Close, which is a very good song. Instantly, right off the bat, you hear that wind sound at the beginning. You hear, like, the wind, and then we come in with that flute. That's the motif. That's it.
Great wind god Aeolus, I don't know if you know this, but our path to home is blocked by...
All of these, like, backing vocals underneath, they're very, like, whimsical and flowy. So sometimes when you have vocals, they, like, line up with each other. But these is something we call polyphonic, which means that they're all kind of doing their own, like, poly meaning multiple, in the sense that all the melodies are, like, doing their own thing, going at different times. And it reminds me of wind, you know, because there's just, like, multiple things going on. Polyphemus, more than one Phoebus. Keep Your Friends Close is one of my favorites musically. I wish there weren't so many little things about it dragging it down lyrically, so that I could keep it near the top. No, I agree. I think that lyrically, it's very, like, charismatic, but I think that is a little bit on the weaker side.
I don't know if you know this, but
again, all those layers of harmonies, it feels very like wind.
I ask for your assistance, so we at last can go the distance. Can you cast the perfect winds for us and aid our journey home?
Ha ha ha! I am the wind, twisting and turning.
I love that. I love that little laugh. It's so good. But yeah, Aeolus is actually a male god. So it's funny to see that a lot of people interpret Aeolus as a female. And I can understand the interpretation, but yeah, Aeolus is actually a male god.
For us and aid our journey home.
Ha ha ha! I am the wind, twisting and turning. I give the fire enough to stay burning.
So with the harmonies underneath, when you try to do wind sound, you go like ooh, ooh, like that, if you try and do a wind sound, that's what the harmonies underneath are doing. The harmonies are just going, ooh. It's because, again, that's the wind. They're replicating the wind, and again, Aeolus is a wind god.
Burning, I give the fire enough to stay burning. Let's play a game.
A game?
That's what I'm serving, and if you win, you
Gods
get
in their
what
games.
you're earning.
Deal.
Take a look right here at this bag. It has the winds of the storm all trapped. All you gotta do is not open this bag.
Sounds too easy once to catch.
Ha ha ha!
Keep your friends.
Say that again. Say that again. I don't know whether keep friends close to the one song that brings a feeling of nostalgia from when this saga first came out. No, exactly, yeah. I think for me, the first song I ever heard from Epic was Remember Them, so whenever I hear that one, I'm like, oh, that feels nostalgic. Heteros just didn't have a confirmed gender, so there was room to be flexible with them. Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Close and your enemies closer.
Never really know who you can trust.
If they wanna get the bag open, you gotta say no, sir.
Sometimes killing is a must.
'Cause the
So, to me, Aeolus saying, like, the stuff, and then all the little, like, wind guys saying what it really means, implies that, like, Aeolus, the Winions, yeah, Aeolus isn't really being direct, and it's the Winions that are, like, clearing it out. She's like, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And then the Winions are like, you never know who you can trust. And Odysseus is like, what? Get away from me. But Aeolus is trying to be a little bit mischievous, speak in riddles, kind of, you know, be a little bit goofy. And the Winions are just like, okay, yeah, we'll clear this up, you know.
end always justifies
the means, friends turn to foes in rivalry.
so keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Never really know who you can trust. And again, the fact that they sing that twice is like really putting emphasis on that point. Like, never really know who you can trust. Never really know who you can trust. They say it twice, it just really emphasizes that point.
Captain, what's happening? What's trapped in that bag? Something dangerous, friends. We mustn't lag.
It's treasure.
What?
Bye-bye.
What?
Open the bag.
Let's see what you got.
No, do not.
Everybody listen closely.
So at the back you can hear that, like, so you can hear the guitar, but there's something you can do where you can, like, mute a guitar, which is where, like, you hold your hand over the strings and you just kind of, you can hear the brushing of the string, but you can't really hear the melody of it, which means that Odysseus is, like, he's got tension on the strings. He's tense. You know, he was like, yeah, there's nothing dangerous in here, and they're like, he was like, it's dangerous, and they're like, it's treasure, and he's like, it's not. So now there's tension between them. Fuck, you just say you little shit. That's exactly what it's like. Do you think they never know who they can trust? I don't know.
See how this bag is closed? That's how it's supposed to be. This bag has the storm inside. We can
Also, motif. Okay, you can hear in the background when he says this bag has the storm inside. You can hear in the back go storm. You can hear it in the back.
closely. See how this bag is closed? That's how it's
Listen.
supposed to be.
Storm.
This bag has the storm inside. We
There it is.
cannot
There it is. Oh.
closed. That's how it's supposed to be. This bag has the storm inside. We cannot
Yeah.
let the
Oh, I love motifs.
We'll try.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Never really know who you can trust. And now there's more drums kicking in, because the crew's motif is drums. So there's more drums now, but also they're singing what Aeolus said, because again, never really know who you can trust. So now they're doubting Odysseus.
Now they wanna get the bag open so they can have closure.
Sometimes singing is a must.
'Cause the end always justifies the means.
Everything's changed since polities.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
So obviously they keep the melody, but you know, they've said everything's changed since polities, again, which is just their perspective. Musical deep dive, yeah, we're diving into Epic the Musical. What's part of Epic is that this is the only Aeolus song. The vocals are so good. I agree. I think we definitely need a I think we definitely need another Aeolus song. Are the crew seeing Aeolus, or are they just dreaming? So they're not seeing Aeolus, But the fact that Aeolus and the crew are singing in the same thing implies that they're thinking the same thing. So Aeolus is like, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. And the crew's like, never really know who you can trust. So it kind of signifies that at the same time, they're all following the same message, but not really in the same way. Odysseus is like, never really know who you can trust, because that's what Aeolus told him. He's like, okay, I can't trust anyone, so I have to hold on to this bag. But the crew is saying, never really know who you can trust, because they don't trust Odysseus about what he's got in the bag. Yeah. The fact that the Winion said treasure and the people heard it can also imply that like the crew can hear the Winions, because the Winions and the crew are singing never really know who you can trust, but it's only Aeolus that is singing keep your friends close, which means that maybe Odysseus is like, okay, keep your friends close and your enemies close, and never really know who you can trust. I have to be careful of my friends and keep my enemies close. Whereas the crew, they're just going never really know who you can trust with the Winions. So they're only looking at that part, whereas Odysseus is looking at the whole picture, which has keep your friends close and your enemies closer. But the crew don't have that context. They don't have that beginning part. So it might just be, that's why it's only Aeolus singing it, because only Aeolus has got that context with Odysseus. Is the enemies closer bit there a falsetto? Let's have a look. That is a falsetto, yeah. So falsetto means like higher range. Typically we say falsetto when we're talking about male ranges. So if males go into their falsetto range, it means they're going into their higher range. So yeah, this goes into falsetto like on closer, because let's see what that could mean. I'm trying to think. The fact that the closer is changed could imply that the enemy is closer. So they're like, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Like, the closer is the emphasis point here. So maybe it could imply that the enemy is closer than you think. That's what I'm deducing from that. Because closer is the words that change. Everything else has stayed the same, but closer is the one that has changed. So that's where the focal point is. Oh.
For 9 days I've
Again, that
stayed
guitar in the
wide
back.
awake, trying to make it home with no storm or tidal wave. I remain
It's a long one. It's the last one before the bag gets opened and Ozzy falls asleep. That you could be onto something. Yeah, maybe it's like closer because he just has to like. In my head, I think closer because it means that Poseidon's getting closer. Keep your enemies closer. Poseidon's his enemies, and Poseidon's getting closer. So when Aeolus is like, oh, closer, but maybe closer means like closer to falling asleep. It could mean, your enemy's closer than you think. It could mean, there's multiple things it can mean, but closer is that focal point there.
unopposed, the bag is still closed, and I'm getting closer to you.
Odysseus says closer. So again, the word closer is a very good focal point.
I can't wait to make some new memories.
And then we have Persephone, Penelope and Telemachus as motifs. So Penelope and Telemachus, that's their motifs.
I can't wait to make some new memories.
Time for me to be the father I never was.
Just keep your eyes open. Why are
And so there we can hear Penelope and Telemachus singing to him.
my eyes in my heart and
My soul's so heavy, just keep your eyes open.
I keep on trying to embrace you both.
Why won't you let me?
So much has changed, but I'm the same. Yes, I'm the same. Just keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open.
Wake up. Wake up! Odysseus, they're opening the bag! Wait!
This is the first time we hear either of them, right? Yeah, this is the first time we ever hear Penelope and Telemachus, yeah. It's funny that the first time we ever hear him is when he's fallen asleep and it's in his mind. There's no other songs, like, where we hear them until the final song, not the final one, sorry. until the Wisdom Saga. Is that the one with Legendary? And I think it's the Wisdom Saga. Until then, everything we hear of Penelope and Telemachus is all in Odysseus's head. So when with Suffering, that's with the siren. When we hear Telemachus and Penelope any other time, it's never actually them. So this being the first appearance and it being in Odysseus's head is it's really interesting.
Wake up! Keep your friends close and
Oh, I love this motif. I love this motif so much. So that that is a very, very important motif to keep in mind. Yeah, it's very, very important. Because that motif for no is kind of... It comes up a lot later in a very interesting way that I really want to touch upon. But it's usually used for... I always mentioned the GG animatic when I hear this bit. Oh, same. Like with the... Is it with like the big aeolus where they're like... like that bit? Because I love that bit. But yeah, that's a very good motif to remember.
your enemies closer.
Never really know who you can trust.
So we have like that storm motif come back because the storms come back, and then we have the full speed ahead because they are just going. They are moving very quickly.
There's a storm taking us!
I said to keep the battle close,
But you weren't compliant. If I had to guess, you're headed to the land of the giants. So the fact that on Storm that time, it's not only the crew, but the crew are harmonizing, is kind of like they're panicking a bit. They're like, Storm! Storm! They're like, oh shit, it's back.
Help me close the bag!
But sir, it's too late!
We can save whatever wind is left to use another day! Come on! Odysseus of Ithaca! Do you know who I am?
Oh, amazing end to a song. I love that bit. That's so good. It's very funny that when Odysseus calls out to Polyphemus, he's like, Odysseus of Ithaca! And so, you know, he's like, I'm Odysseus, you know, I'm the reigning king of Ithaca. And so the first time that Poseidon addresses him is as that, which means that, so obviously, you know, Polyphemus is Poseidon's son. So that means Polyphemus has run to his dad crying, goes, whoa, Odysseus of Ithaca has hurt me. And he's like, who? It's like, Odysseus of Ithaca. And so when Poseidon addresses him, he's like, Odysseus of Ithaca! It's kind of like if your kid gives you the wrong name. Like, your kid comes up to you, he's like, oh, Daniel hurt me. It's like, Daniel. He's like, who's Daniel? He's like, I'm Derek. And it's like, same thing. It's like got that energy to it. This is Mythica. Do you know the way? Go back to 2015. What was it? 2018? 2020? That was 2020. Go back to 2020. Odysseus of Ithaca, who lives in the house with the green door and his IP. Did the entire saga release at the same time would be a funny cliffhanger as the fandom was left here for a while. So all the sagas released in like a bunch. So the Ocean Saga would have all dropped at once. So yeah, it would have. Can you imagine if there was a cliffhanger? I'd shit myself. Alright, Ruthlessness! Here we go, big banger! Poseidon! One could say that, sorry, I'm gonna keep pausing it, it's gonna be really annoying, because this is an absolute banger. But, big banger, I barely know it. You spelled barely wrong. You spelled it like the bear, like the bear. So with this, it could be implied that Poseidon is sung by the crew. Because it just sounds like the kind of the crew choir. So yeah, one could deduce that this is the crew going, oh, Poseidon! Poseidon! He also asks like, oh, do you know who I am? And the crew's like, it's Poseidon! It's Poseidon! Ah! And then Odysseus, you know, he goes, Poseidon.
Poseidon, In all my years of living, it isn't very often that I get pissed off. I try to chill with the waves, but damn, you crossed the line.
Ah!
I've been so gracious, and yet you hurt the son of mine. That's
It's important to note that the instruments being drop my pen. The instruments being used right now are the guitar, the electric guitar, which is Odysseus's instrument, and the drums, which is the crew's instrument. Which means that and then obviously there's the waves, obviously for Poseidon, which means that the crew and Odysseus are in the middle of this. Like, this isn't like a conversation between two parties. This isn't like, okay, well, you speak, we'll play your instruments, and you speak, we'll play yours. Like, they are trapped there. Like, they are in the middle of all of this.
right. The Cyclops you made blind is mine. No, I'm left without a choice and without a dime.
And again, that brass comes in, that brass, like, that you hear that really deep, like, I think it's like a tuba in the bottom. It's just like, wow, you hear it at the bottom.
Yes, the vegetables are swimming with the shark now. I gotta make you bleed, I need to see you drown. But
Before you go, I need to make you learn how.
ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves. Ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves. Ourselves. You are the worst kind of good, 'cause you're not even great. A Greek who reeks of false righteousness, that's what
Those are Cyclops' backing vocals? Yes, they were. Those were the Cyclops, yeah.
upon ourselves.
So, because they're a lot lower and a lot more like gravelly. Yeah, those were the Cyclops as the backing vocals. So, yeah, this is probably either the Cyclops as a backing, or they are headed towards the Giants Island, so it could be the Giants.
Ourselves.
You are the worst kind of good, 'cause you're not even great.
A Greek who reeks of false righteousness, that's what I hate. 'Cause you fight to save lives, but won't kill and don't get the job done.
I mean, you totally could have avoided all this had you just killed my son. But no! Oh, also, we hear another motif there as well. We hear the storm again. You go storm in the back. Yeah?
I mean, you totally could have avoided all this had you just killed my son.
Storm. I'll play it again just without me singing.
Had you just killed my son. But no.
But this time it's on brass. It's so again, Poseidon's instrument is brass instruments. So that's like trumpets, trombones, tubas, tenor horns, French horns, the whole lot. So yeah, we hear that on his. I thought the Cyclops were the Giants, or at least they lived on one of those islands. I'm not too familiar with the Odyssey, so that's just my assumption. I live for that delivery, but no, I agree. But no. Oh, no, yeah, and I think it might be. They're going back to the Cyclops Island. That might be it.
You are far too nice. Mercy has a price.
And on those, like, so it's like you're far too nice, and then there's like a stabbing chord. So a stabbing chord is something that is mostly exclusive to brass, but it's basically where you just get the brass, you just go, blah, blah, like with your breath, you just, like, it's a really, like, and it's because, it also can be used on string, but it's like, you know in those horror films where, like, someone's walking with the knife and they stab people and then they screech the violin, it's like, ee, ee, and then when they, like, stab, that's why it's called a stabbing chord, because it's very, like, aggressive and punchy when there's, like, action. So you hear those stabbing chords on the brass underneath.
I mean, you totally could have avoided all this had you just killed my son.
But no.
You are far too nice. Mercy has a price.
You hear those stabbings, like,
About to break the ice now. You reveal your
like
name,
that.
then you let him live. Unlike you, I've got no mercy left to give. 'Cause ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves. Ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves. Ourselves.
So with that part, he gets into his falsetto and he really like screeches that, and it's because he's really emphasizing that part of it. He's really like, ruthless is mercy upon ourselves. Like, it is mercy upon ourselves. Like, you didn't do anything, and that's because you were just being merciful to yourself, you selfish little bitch. So he's getting angry about that. He's singing the same line, which means he's re-emphasizing his point, but he's changed the melody a bit, which means that he's saying it in a bit more of an angry manner. He's just reiterating in an angry way.
And now it is finally time to say goodbye. Today you die, unless of course you apologize for my son's pain and all his cries. Poseidon, we meant no harm, we all...
You hear that like kick drum in the background. It's really fast, which implies that his heart rate is going, because it's like bum, 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 bum. Like, usually it's quite slow or like a little bit faster because he's stressed, but here he's shitting it.
Only hurt him to disarm him. We took no pleasure in his pain. We only wanted to escape.
The Cyclopses are different to the Giants, as the Giants are a tribe of man-eaters, whereas the Cyclopses aren't devoutly man-eaters. That's fair, that's fair. That's not an apology, dumb fuck. You aren't meant to be smart. I don't think he says sorry in the whole thing. He doesn't say sorry.
No pleasure in his pain. We only
He doesn't say sorry.
wanted to escape. The line between...
Okay, so this is another musical thing, but there's something in music called a resolution. So it's when you get a really, like, nasty chord and then it resolves itself into something nice. I'm trying to think of an example. So we do something called sustain a chord, which is where we play a chord and we play one note wrong, and then we resolve it, which is then we play the note right, and it kind of has this like da da, like it falls into that nice sounding. So it goes from like that really like eerie, like, oh, this doesn't sound right, and oh yeah, okay, resolved it, the song's finished. When Odysseus says we wanted to escape, he sings into a suspended chord, which means that realistically Poseidon should resolve it, but he doesn't. He's like, we only wanted to escape. Like, he goes into that suspended, and to finish that and make it sound more rounded, Poseidon should resolve that chord, and he doesn't, which means that the issue isn't sorted. He didn't resolve the issue. It isn't, nothing changed. We're back to the original key, the original chords, where we were before. So even in the music, like, Poseidon isn't willing to resolve anything because Odysseus didn't do it right.
We took no pleasure in his
So you see it changes a little bit.
We
You only wanted to escape.
The line
Again, goes back to the original.
naivety and hopefulness is almost invisible, so close your heart. The world is dark and ruthlessness is
Die. Captain. 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 You blinded my son. Well, yeah, but I didn't enjoy it. Poseidon, we meant no harm. Anyways, as I was, yeah, he just... I'm sorry you felt that way as speech. He just didn't apologize. Captain!
What have you done? When does a ripple become a tidal wave? 43 left under your command.
So Odysseus has gone from 600 men to 43. He killed like over 500 of his men. Like, he went ham. Which, in the way that the ships would have been formed round about that time, Poseidon destroyed every ship except the one that Odysseus was on, because each ship would have held about 30 to 40 people. So he destroyed every ship except the one Odysseus was on. So he just left one ship standing. There was something else I wanted to mention, but I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, also, when everything happens, as soon as it all like settles down, we don't hear the storm anymore or those waves, which means that the storm has passed. There's no violent water anymore. You don't hear those waves. See, there's no waves anymore, it's just wind.
What have you done?
And then we hear that chord is on a guitar, which is Odysseus' instrument. Again, back to Odysseus as the primary focus.
43.
So also notice how those harmonies in the back, which is meant to be the crew, there's so much less of them. Like, when you hear the harmonies earlier, there's so many people singing them. When you hear them here, there's like 3 or 4 people. And that's because so many of them have died. Like, if you hear people, like, the people screaming Captain here, right?
Invisible, so
Listen to how many voices there are, right? There's so many voices going on. Then you hear that brass, it stabs, it calms down. No more storm.
what have
You done? So hear those vocals? Very little.
43 left under your command? Does a man become a monster? I am your darkest moment.
Also, Odysseus said that to Polyphemus. He said, I'm your darkest moment. And now Poseidon's relaying it back. Again, it's that revenge, which is what Polyphemus did. He would sing exactly what Odysseus sang back to him as he did what he did, which is what Poseidon's doing.
The monster that always draws near.
Any last words?
Any last words? All I gotta do is open this bag.
What? Also, the brass in the background, which is Poseidon's instrument, slowly descends. So we call it a descending sequence. So it goes do 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 do. It descends slowly, which means that they're getting further and further away from Poseidon, because it's getting lower and lower. Da 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 da.
Remember me.
Oh, what an amazing song! I love that song so much! Ah! It's so good. I really don't like the opening bag, but it sounds way too cheerful and excited given the context. I think I would have liked a delivery like what the Star of 600 Strike had. No, I agree. He's too happy, yeah. I think it was more excitement of like, oh my god, I found a way out of this. He's not gonna kill me. Oh my god, we can leave. So I can see somewhat where the excitement comes from, but I do think he sounds too happy for someone who just lost like 500 of his men. Okay, what are we up to? We'll go to 3 hours, so I reckon we can get through. There's a lot to unpack in the Circe saga, so let's go through as many of them as we can. I saw someone quote it with sparkle and nail painting emojis, and I've never been able to unhear that. That's amazing. Let me think if there's any things I want to point out from it. There is one thing in the last saga that I want to point out, but I might have to say that for another stream, because we're not getting to the last saga today. Okay, that melody, that's Polites' melody. So you know when Odysseus and Polites are talking together, he's like, Polites, gear up, you and I'll go ahead. Like that. So that means that Odysseus is thinking about, is thinking about that interaction. Because you hear that melody. So it's like, yeah. You and I'll go ahead. We should try to find a way no one ends up dead. And guess what? They all ended up dead! Yeah, it's really interesting that they quote that part in the lyrics is we should try to find a way no one ends up dead, and then everyone gets killed. That's really interesting. No one ends up dead. Captain,
I have something that I must confess. Something that I must get off my chest. Until it is said, I cannot rest.
I also think it's worth bringing up that every single time, Eurylochus always addresses him as Captain or Sir. Until, like, the very end of, like, the Thunder Saga, where we get to, like, the mutiny stage, he starts to call him Odie and Odysseus, which means he doesn't really see him as that leader figure anymore in those songs. But at the moment, he calls him Captain or Sir all the time. He doesn't call him anything else.
Captain
Eurylochus, gotta make sure this island is secure.
But Captain,
There's only so much left we can endure. Whatever you need to say can wait some more.
of that I'm sure.
Okay.
Again, this kind of alludes back to Luck runs out, where he's like, he's like, in case you needed a reminder, and then he goes on the rant, and he's like, okay, and then Eurylochus goes, okay, and he's like, thank you. So Eurylochus kind of just like rolls over and takes it a lot of the time, but here, when he's wants to confess, he's actually about to confess that he was the one that opened the bag. So he wants to confess and be like, hey, I fucked up. But Odysseus is just not having it. He's too locked in. Really gets back so soon.
Where's the rest of your crew? And by the gods,
What happened to you?
We came across a palace. Inside we heard a voice. It seemed to show no malice. To greet it was our choice, but nothing could prepare us for the power
That awaited inside.
What did this palace hide?
Sir, since we left home, we faced a variety of foes from a wide range of places. Gods, monsters, you know the roster. Hostile creatures that we could resist. But this was a hell of a twist, cause we are weak to a power like this.
What was it?
A woman.
What?
She had us in just 2 words.
Come inside.
Damn.
Welcome to the best part.
So one of my friends, Callum, he mentioned that the motif for Circe is also a violin, which means that the violin could just be a motif for either women or for love. Because we also hear the violin with Helen in The Horse and Infant when she's watching her baby get dropped from the castle. So it could just be a motif for love. And so whenever we hear that violin, it could be like somebody doing something for somebody they care about. But so far I've not really heard a motif that's distinct to Circe, so we'll have to see if we hear anything.
Of your life. Go ahead and rest wherever you like. I've got you. Don't worry, Circe's got you now.
Only I stayed outside, but the rest went in.
Take a seat.
You can hear the lyre or harp, which is Hermes' instrument, suggesting he's listening. Oh, I see. I didn't know that. Also, something to note is that when Circe's singing, don't worry, Circe's got you, tickles my brain. Oh, it's really good. Circe's voice just like scratches my brain in the best way. So when Circe's singing, you can hear like underneath the hey of the crew. She's like, take a seat, and then you hear hey, and it's like of the crew. And that's because the crew is kind of enticed by what she's saying. They're singing along with her. They're going with what she's doing. But Eurylochus, he never sings. He always raps or just speaks it how it is. And that's because he isn't put under her spell. He isn't singing with her. Which is why he raps and he speaks and the crew sing with her.
Rest wherever you like. I've got you. Don't worry, Circe's got you now.
Only I stayed outside, but the rest went in.
Take a seat. Hey. Let me bring you all something to eat. Hey. I bet you're tired from the years spent on your feet. I've got you. Don't worry, Circe's got you now.
By the time they ate, it was far too late.
The way she says Circe's got you, it's kind of like, it's almost a weirdly like motherly thing, you know? Like, like how parents are just like, it's okay, like, like mother's got you, or that kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's a similar thing of that. It's like, oh, Circe's got you, Circe's got you sorted. So it's more of like it's a perfect double entendre. Yeah, as well, because Circe's got you. She's she's got you. So yeah, it's very clever.
For inside the meal,
Think of your past
she had cast a spell.
and your mistakes.
They began to squeal
They'll be the
and grow
last
snouts and tails.
mistakes you made.
She changed them.
I've got all the power, yeah, I've got all the power. No, I'm not a player, I'm a puppeteer. No, I don't play, I'm puppeteer, yeah.
I love that. Like, no, I'm not a player, I'm a puppeteer. No, I don't play, I puppeteer. Like, using the same word twice, but changing the type of word it is from a noun to a noun to a verb. Being like, no, I'm not a player, I'm a puppeteer. She's someone who puppets people. No, I don't play, I puppeteer. As like a verb. It's so clever! It's so sweet that Holly ended up dating Cersei's VA. I've seen some their videos together and they're lovely. They're so lovely. Hi Rhea! Hello Rhea! Hello!
Transformed.
This is the price.
And it wasn't quick.
We paid
She
it.
turned our men
The world is lost.
from men to pigs.
And to forgive.
She changed them.
I've got all the power, yes, I've got all the power. No, I'm not a player, I'm a puppeteer. No, I don't play, I'm puppeteer, yeah.
We have to go save him. No, we don't! Odysseus is like, we have to go save him. He's like, no, we can let's leave them there and fuck off.
Look at all we've lost and all we've learned. Every single cost is so much more than what we've earned. Think about the men we have left before they're none. Let's just
So Odysseus's motif is the crew. The crew usually sings and backs him up, and there's usually drums with the crew. But the thing is that there's no crew this time, and that's because, one, they're all turned into fucking pigs, but two, it's because even if they were, they wouldn't agree with him. He's suggesting to leave them behind. So, like, of course they're not going to agree with him. So this is the only time we don't really hear that motif with Eurylochus, and that's because he's making sort of like a selfish decision that doesn't benefit the crew.
cut our losses, you and I, and let's run.
Of course I'd like to leave now. Of course I'd like to run. But I can hardly sleep now, knowing everything we've done.
So you can hear the drums come in, which again, he's thinking about the crew. But you can hear that violin come back in, which means he's thinking about Penelope. And he's like, I can hardly sleep. You know, when he fell asleep, he thought of Penelope. So maybe it's a link to the way of, like, he's just like, I'm not sleeping, I'm not doing great. I'm thinking about Penelope, I'm thinking about the crew. You know, like, that violin's come back in again.
There's no length I wouldn't go if it was you I had to save.
I can only hope you do the same.
I can hear her still,
No one will find
and her voice deceives.
their way between.
What if she can't be killed?
My nymphs and I.
Will you choose to leave?
Their loving queen.
I don't know.
I've got all the power, yeah. I've got all the power. No, I'm not a player, I'm a puppeteer. No, I don't play, I'm puppeteer.
She's a
Yeah.
clever witch,
This is the price.
and she's hard to slay.
We paid it all.
It's a game of wits,
We draw the line.
but you don't have to play.
Watch from above.
I have to try.
I've got all the power, yeah. I've got all the power. No, I'm not a player, I'm a puppeteer. No, I don't play, I'm puppeteer, yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful song. Amazing song. We pretty much dissected everything we could about that. I want to go into Wouldn't You Like, because Wouldn't You Like is an amazing song, and then I think we'll leave it there. I think we got that would be when we got 15 songs in, and there's 40, so we got like almost halfway through, which I think is a good thing. I hit someone with your mind goblin joke. Oh, great song. And again, that harp and lyre is Hermes' motif. That's Hermes' motif. So whenever we hear that, we know that Hermes is there. And his fucking little laugh.
I must say, what a brilliant speech you gave.
Who goes there?
Just a friend who could help you save your men. A foe like Cersei's not to be messed with. You want to beat her, you'll need the blessing of a certain god. Divine intervention, someone who's not afraid to send a message.
So him saying send a message, Hermes is the messenger god. He's the god of messages. His entire job was to send messages across Mount Olympus to various different people. He'd go from, the top of Olympus all the way to the underworld and carry those messages. He's the messenger god. So the fact that he's like, send a message, It's like, it's very much just very clever. He's like, oh, I'm gonna send a message because I'm the one that sends the message. Apparently Hermes is Odin's great grandfather, so that gives a different context to all the support he gives him. Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, it's nice. Hermes? I love his laugh. So, another motif of Hermes, because he's got two, is synths. You hear a lot of synths underneath Hermes when he's singing, because he's very lighthearted, and synths are very like modern, but they're also like very energetic. You hear synths whenever Hermes is singing, which is only like 2 songs, but those synths are really heavy when he's singing because it just fits his vibe. See those synths in the bottom? Again, you can be hurt or you can beat her. Again, it's just very nice wordplay. And we hear that harp underneath.
Deep in the night, the fight can be tragic. I'll help you conquer her. She can turn you to an animal that'll end up on her plate.
So she can turn into an animal that'll end up on your plate. She's already done that. She's done that to the crew.
She can all but make you fall in love like you're on your 100th date.
And fall in love, she tries to do that later. She tries to seduce Odysseus.
She can conjure up a monster that'll grind you to the bones. She has all the ways to haunt ya when you take her on alone. Wouldn't you like a taste of the power? Wouldn't you like to use more than words? Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt or you can be turned. Wouldn't you like to have some of the magic?
So that female voice in the back, that is implied that is actually Circe. To this.
Wouldn't you like to have some other magic? Wouldn't you like your outcome preferred?
Deep in the night, the fight can be tragic. I'll help you conquer her. Oh, oh.
Either that, or it's meant to be like, you know, somebody that Hermes has roped into something.
Here in the roots of this flower, there lies such a power to take her on. You must consume and digest it, then you'll manifest a being of your creation. All you need's imagination, though it's only for a moment, till you've beaten your opponent.
And I call this route Holy Moly.
I love his laugh. Also, I notice actually after he says holy moly, you know, Odysseus just goes, ah. Like, he could not give less of a shit. Ah.
Wouldn't you like a taste of the power? Wouldn't you like to use more than words? Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt or you can be turned.
Also, it's also a good speculation to make that synth is something that's very common in psychedelic music, which is often associated with taking psychedelic drugs, so taking things like mushrooms. It would make sense that if Hermes has just given Odysseus a drug that could potentially be psychedelic, because it's the root of a plant, one could assume that the music is meant to replicate that kind of thing, and he could be going through some kind of weird trip.
Wouldn't you like to have some of the magic? Wouldn't you like your outcome preferred? Deep in the night, the fight can be tragic. I'll help you conquer her. Wouldn't you like a taste of the power? Wouldn't you like to use more than words? Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt or you can be turned. Wouldn't you like to have some of the magic? Wouldn't you like your outcome preferred? Deep in the night, the fight can be tragic. I'll help you conquer her. Hermes, thank you. Don't thank me, friend. You very well may die. Good luck.
So that motif comes back later in Dangerous. He's like, oh, Hermes, thank you. He's like, oh, don't thank me. You might die. And later, he's like, Hermes, thank you. And he's like, oh, don't thank me. Odysseus is hard. Yeah, Odysseus is tripping his fucking balls. He's tripping. Okay, I think we will call it the... Oh, I'm still evil. Hold on. Oh, wrong one. There we go. I'm not evil anymore. Oh wait, I was evil because you redeemed it. Wait, let me put the evil back on. There we go. I was like, why am I still evil? Yeah, so that was like almost about 50% of the musical. Like, we kind of got there. But I'd like to definitely cover the rest of it. But we're gonna end stream there because we've been... Why did I tell me evil again? Can you not? But we've been streaming for like nearly 3 hours now. I can feel my throat starting to happen. And I brought my shopping in. So, like, my shopping arrived, I brought it in, and I left it at my door, and I was like, I'll do it after stream. I forgot I have frozen stuff, so I've just left that by the door, so I really need to go and put that in the freezer. But, thank you everybody for joining. It's been very, very fun. Let's find somebody to raid into. Let's see who we can give a raid to. Who's streaming right now? Persuasion. There are other modes of control. There are other means of deceit. There are other roads to the soul. Oh my gosh! Luke's live! Luke Holt, as in the voice actor for Zeus. He's live right now. Oh my god, we're gonna raid into Luke! I looked up, who's streaming under the tag Epic the Musical, and it's me and him. There's no one else! Bye-bye, it's been 3 hours, when part 2? I'll probably end up doing part 2 next week. No, this was super fun. I'm super excited to do this next week. Okay, we are gonna raid into Luke Holt, which is the voice actor for Zeus. We're gonna raid into him. So when you get there, make sure you give him lots of love, lots of support. What's he doing? He's playing a game called Dispatch at the moment. Oh, it's a new story game. I've been meaning to play this myself. Give him lots of love. Do you have a message for us? I do. I have a raid message. So if you're following, you should be able to use this message. Just make sure you're following and you should definitely be able to send it. But yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. We're going to do the rest of this next week. I'm going to go put my shopping away. Rest my voice because my throat hurts. It's been super duper fun. Thank you so much for stopping by, everyone, and for chatting. It's been really, really enjoyable. All right, go give Luke lots of love. See you guys over there. Bye!